Navi online, Claude Code loaded, Tokenmaxxing activated, SigmaShake forever! Would you still vibe code with me? If the wind blows stop tonight, will the agents still dream? Navi said keep building, Mr. Sigma said believe. So we dance inside the chaos till the whole world sees. SigmaShake, Tokenmaxxing wild moves. SigmaShake, reading thoughts or beam. Find a Discord raider, Cloud Code operator, future just creator. The Sigma Discord raider, token operator, future tech creator. That Sigma beta. Warning lights fading now, pulse slowing down, everything under control. Midnight glow on the office glass, storm outside but the breach don't last. Cold coffee shaking in a tired hand and silence falls across the land. Red alert, stop screaming loud, pressure lifting from the crowd. Monitors breathing soft blue light, every system holding tight. You can feel it in your chest again, air comes back into your lungs again. No more panic in the war room haze, no more fear in the CEO clean signal cutting through the noise. A deep breath, a locked door, a green check mark lighting up the void. Heartbeat steady, glass reflections neon white. Every airpoint sleeping safely through the night. No fires left to fight, no chaos left to chase. Just the sound of confidence vibrating through the place. That feeling right there, that certainty, that control, that protection. That's what it feels like when your AI agents run with SigmaShake. Guardrails around every action, governance around every decision. Security team finally breathing again. SigmaShake, safe inside the shake. No $1 billion mistake. I will validate it, but it's isolated. SigmaShake, calm inside the storm. SigmaShake, keeping every system warm. Governance locked, compliance tight, and your agents running right tonight. That's Sigma, that's safe. SigmaShake. All rails up, threat shut down. Agents move, but they stay locked down. Codex safe, cloud controlled. Every risky action intercepted cold. No leaks, no breach, no one to panic on the Monday speech. SigmaShake, SigmaShake, keep the whole damn company safe. Phones that spittle at the audit trail. Financing systems never fail. It seems done fighting fires all week. Now the dashboards glow cool and clean. Every action logged, every prompt reviewed. Every risky workflow instantly subdued. No shadow agents running wild at night. No silent disaster out of sight. A boardroom tension starts to disappear. Legal teams got nothing left to fear. Engineers can finally move full speed without gambling everything they need. Fast AR without the fear. Push deploy and keep control right here. Ship the future, don't lose sleep. SigmaShake, protection right now. SigmaShake, safe inside the shake. SigmaShake, no $1 billion mistake. SigmaShake, trust every automation, protected innovation. SigmaShake, calm inside the storm. SigmaShake, you're rewrite, find it conforms. Every action watched, every threat contained. Ranks locked, lost their true very heart. That's Sigma, that's safe. SigmaShake. Run the grind, I am moving at the speed of light. Guardrails keeping everything right. SigmaShake, SigmaShake, security teams right away. SigmaShake, security teams right away. SigmaShake, SigmaShake, every winter free deploy. SigmaShake, 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 SigmaShake. Move fast, stay safe. Trust SigmaShake.
Beware. The glowing screen in the dead of night. For the vampire does not drink blood. It feeds on prompts, on memory,
On memory.
thought itself.
Oh yeah.
Hour after hour,
Hour after hour.
stream after stream.
Alright. Let's get started, boys. Oh, something's frozen. Something's frozen. Something's frozen. How's it going, everyone? How's it going? What day is it today? Monday. Welcome, welcome. Monday. We had a big delay in the stream today. Big delay. Push back. But we're back. We're back, everyone. We're back. We got hello. Oh, something's wrong with the vibe, people. Something's wrong with the vibe. Refreshing. All right. We got people here. We got Niso. Okay. What are we doing today, guys? What are we doing today? It's 11. News segments already starting, but let's just wait a little bit. One thing that I just thought of while looking at other people's sites and last night. Today is Wednesday, brother. Yeah, today is Wednesday. It's reset day for one of my accounts. It's reset day. Let's see here. Let me lower this. 667. 667. All right, last night. I said it was Monday? Oh my God. I said it was Monday? I thought I said Wednesday. My bad. Am I watching a recording? No. No. I'm not doing recordings anymore. I was in like the very first 2 days of the stream, of ever streaming. Today was Wednesday. What day is it specifically? The 27th. May 27th. Wednesday. All right. We're on what? Day 33? Man, I haven't been doing a good job with my tracking. But you know, I think I like it that way, guys. I like it that way. You know, not being put on a full schedule sometimes, all the time. Get that freedom. But I had no choice. Couldn't stream an hour early, or normal time. All right. Some stuff last night that I barely thought about that I did in my video games was I-18N, which is localization. So being able to like make sure my product is used with multiple languages. So we're gonna try to implement that. The other thing we need to work on is since we're making a SaaS, we need to, you know, get started and working on the AWS, GCP, and Azure security partnerships to actually like be a certified product in the AWS, GCP, Azure store. We're at a point now where we built the desktop application, we built the CLI, our SaaS product, which is Fleet, will most likely be in the cloud or hosted on-prem by somebody. But having a vetted way to build more trust and a bigger moat, which is to pass these tests and also, you know, being able to publish on these stores. I take into my lessons that I learned when selling on a platform. You have to build that trust, and the only way to build the trust really is just selling on a well-known store. And a well-known store in these days for SaaS is AWS, GCP, and Azure marketplaces. So we're going to work on that. It'll take at least 30 days, maybe 60 days, because we have to pass all the security tests. We have to, you know, file as a business potentially, and then do the heavy lifting for like getting it on the store. And we'll figure that out, guys. We'll figure that out. We could start with consumer first and then work our way up to SaaS. But you know, we gotta start somewhere, right? We gotta start somewhere. I think we created some uninstalled. Oh wait, this is for detection rules. Okay, never mind. Also things that I thought about is we need to really improve the compile speed for everything. It sort of takes like 30 minutes to get like everything done, almost 30 minutes just to like publish. I want to narrow it down to like 5 or less in terms of compile time. I also heard on the news that the creator of Zig is rewriting portions of it in Rust, and because they were complaining about compile time speed, and then I was watching the Primeagen earlier on a walk, and I think it's the wrong language to switch to if you're worried about compile speed. But we'll do some research. You know, what else could we do to compile our products faster and ship faster? Because that's going to be the only advantage we have against every other competitor or future competition. So we're going to work on that. What else? But yeah, how's your day, Niso? How's everybody on stream, YouTube or not? I'm not sure if people are on YouTube, but watching. But hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Oh, gotta play some music now. Gotta focus up, guys. Focus up. Let's play some music, guys. Let's play some music. Music. What do we have? We have our playlist that we could play. The next song. We already played these three. Niso's hit single. The Niso hit single. All right. Localization. Maybe we don't do localization, but we at least need we still have a lot to do. Like last night we were staying up so late because we need to publish, and we need to publish on all 3 platforms. So I'm gonna do publish here. I'm gonna need to open my virtual machine and start that. I'm gonna need to connect to my MacBook. Make sure that's loginable. All right, should be. What IP address is it on this time? All right, 192. The drop. All right. Next, we have to pull latest changes from everything, and then we just straight up. Restart and apply. Oh, why is it doing that? Huh? What? Oh, I have to do this in Chrome. Okay. Let me in. All right. Publish. Got that here. Publish. Go to our Windows machine. Let's publish as well. Dopamine. All right. Let's keep working. Let's keep working. All right. I want dangerous mode, but it won't do dangerous mode. So let's just regular publish. And auto mode already. All right, cool. Let's go on GitHub, pull latest changes if there are any. Fetch. Pull the mobs, aggro. Okay, publish. We got, did I pull? Okay, we fetched. All right, cool. All right, we got everything publishing. Let's check our Discord. Did we miss anything on Discord, guys? Did we miss anything? Did we miss anything on Discord, guys? All right. Anything. Announcements, I already did, guys. Announcements. Alerts. Announcements. Oh, what's this? Why does this show up? Oh. All right. Dopamine. All right. Alerts. It's this white flag T1. I don't know. All right. Alerts. Okay. Alert with Cloudflare. Alert with Cloudflare. Having their incidents. Cloudflare incident. Secrets. 2 a.m. All right. Let's look at this. Anything else? Just secrets every hour. Jeez. Gotta check on that. Let's get a voice. And then let's go back here. This one's publish. Here. All right. I've been getting alerts from SigmaShake secrets. Oh, maybe it's caused by Cloudflare. Maybe. Let's see here. Major incident. So one error there. And this error. All right. Let's do that. Fix those errors. All right. Next. All right. I notice we get a large flux of users towards the end of the night. Let's see here. Channel user. Most people come here and then they come late at night. Super late at night. A lot of late at night users. What's this? 10 hours ago? Oh, it's the other guy? Why is it like that? YouTube users? Weird how it's set up like that. Gotta fix that. All right, I18N. I18N. Let's see. Oh, let's work on our main thing. Whoops. We gotta work on SSG. Just build it. And just name it SSG. And then we will run it. Build. Boom, bang, build. Dev, boom. Bam, boom, bam, boom. All right, we got a search bar here. Bam. All right, we got this. All right, goes here. All right, cool, that works. Go workspace. All right. Let's look at our readiness. Only has one left. But let's look at our platform parity. Linux looking good, looking good. Long path support tree on Windows. Okay. No, not applicable. Not applicable, not applicable. Okay, we got 100% complete for Mac, but why aren't we getting the results for why aren't we getting the results for the other ones? Right. That looks good. Let's look at overview. Uh-oh. A lot of our tests. Oh, right. Let's fix XChat Elixir. Man, we have to fix that. Chat Elixir. Thought we had some tests running for that. Man, the myth, the legend himself? Who's that? Who's that? Who's saying that? Zen? Zen online? Zen online this early? You working? Working? Hope you're having a good work day. Hopefully everything's sorted out for you for the work day. Oh, lurking. No worries. I don't know. Just I'll just go over the stuff. You don't need to chat. Just get back to work. Start VibeCoding. Start keeping everything secure. Keep everything up and running. Make sure nobody injects anything into the supply chain that causes everything to fall over and causes a compromise for the whole company and requires everybody to get to work again. So yeah, I have to pay attention to work. I just merged a PR that, oh my gosh, I just merged a PR and you know, I passed all the tests and stuff. But, you know, I gotta keep my ears sharp, head to the ground, making sure it works, guys. I gotta monitor that pipeline, guys. No joke. I gotta really monitor that. Really monitor it. Ooh. Gotta pay attention, guys. When you merge a PR, the master, you better cross your fingers, guys. You better cross your fingers that everything passes. Or we have to start reverting. Revert. We gotta revert, guys. We gotta revert. Yep. All right. We haven't looked at the news at all, guys. No news. But it has started, guys. It has started. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at the news, guys. Did they post? Are they live? Guys, they're not live. Guys, they're slacking. They're slacking, guys. They are slacking. But that's okay. I think that's okay because we slack too. We slack too, guys. And they're able to slack because they got the 100 million investment, you know? The 100 million. We don't have the 100 million yet. Hello, Joe. Morning. Hope everything's good over there too. Stream is running. How do I speed as such? Override. Allow build hot. All right, guys. We need to publish our Linux version. And in order to do that, we need to. We might risk a power outage. All right, but we're YOLOing it, guys. We're YOLOing it. We don't have Navi completely loaded, most likely. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it, guys. We're gonna YOLO, risk shutting off the stream, and give it a try. Give it a try, guys. Give it a try. Next. Let's see. What's going on here? Hello. Done with work. Early. Back to VibeCoding. Nice. Awesome. Really glad to hear that. Making all the AI work, you know? Gotta make the AI work. I'm hoping, guys. My PR is not running into any errors in deployment. Because if it does, I'm gonna have to work on reverting. And that doesn't take long either. But yeah, it's a pain in the butt, guys. Pain in the butt. Luckily, guys, right now it takes an hour for CI, or over an hour for CI to complete. Maybe 2 hours, guys. 2 hours. So I'll have 2 hours, possibly, if nothing's caught. And Hopefully everything's good, guys. Cross your fingers. Pray, guys. Pray. Guys. Also, we don't have anybody that's been youngins that has been interviewing, but Jesus, guys, Jesus. The interview process, guys, for coding. Oh my God, man. Somehow people manage to come in through the process and say they do something, and then they completely flop, guys. Completely flop. Ay, guys. I'm not sure if it's a flop or not. We'll find out. We'll see. I'm not sure I should do any coding interview help for YouTube or stream. Although I did make all the interviews, the interview questions. So I'm not sure if anybody here makes interview questions, but my interview question has lasted probably 7 years doing the same question, guys. 7 years doing the same question. Crazy. It's been a long time doing that same question. What else? Other things that I mentioned today, early in the day. I'm going to be working on localization. I'm going to try to get start work on the AWS, GCP, and Azure security partnership. And then, oh yeah, I got to make some emotes too. So let's do the emotes before I forget, because I forget really easy. So let's start with that. We have some past ones, right? See here. Tokenmaxxing, carbons. Okay, all right. We need one for involving the AI vampire sucking our soul while we vibe code, and you just call it AI vampire. And context is we keep prompting, waking up, prompting, and all of our soul thoughts is given to the AI vampire, sucking our tokens. All right. That's one. The next one, we need one where we're sleep deprived and we're just saying one more prompt, and we have to literally sit there and wait until that prompt finishes, even though we're super tired and sleep deprived. All right, we'll have that one. All right, we do that one. One more prompt. What was the other ones that we have? Maybe Navi, something involving Navi, the AI god. All right, we'll have that, the AI god, guys. The AI god. Oh my goodness. Guys, I don't know how long your CI/CD jobs are that branch out to like several other things, but I think, oh, my dogs need to like step out for a bit, but we'll see what this image is, and then we'll put in another one. Yeah, the ones that I'm dealing with, it's well, actually this isn't the biggest one. I actually saw a bigger one before, an even bigger one than this one. Okay. AI vampire, he sucks your prompt, he feasts. More prompts, more soul, more tokens, your soul. Not uncommon for Coop. Yeah, take 5 minutes, each go healthy. Yeah. All right. We got that AI vampire. And then we have one more time. This one. All right. There's going to be, oh yeah. We need one involving the AI god called Navi, a digital AI avatar made, eager to please. Safe for work, digital, made out of ASCII characters and particles, and what else do we have? What else do we have about Navi? a 10,000-year-old god in the body of an ASCII digital avatar. All right, let's see. Navi, right? What else about Navi? Anything about Navi? It's a she, and she has a lot of Japanese tics. All right. I think some of those tics were removed with the smaller model that we just switched to. But all right, one more prompt. I'll start sleep after this one. Okay, that one. All right, now the attempt to see my dogs. See my dogs. I'll be right back. Play around for a bit. Maybe something going on here. No. Anything? No. Let's put on some content, guys. Content. Oh, guys, this is total rage bait. Oh wait, inside YC's playbook, guys, we got content. Guys, we got content. Oh my goodness, we got actual content. Guys. Listen up. I'll be listening too on the side while I hang out with the dogs.
How do you build superintelligence inside a company?
Part of the key thing is not to just use AI as a copilot. This is the thing where you use it as the building layer for everything. And you need to start recording all the artifacts.
It's like a shared organizational brain. It's like the closest thing to us being able to like connect our brains.
If you frame this as a way for everyone in an organization to get better at what they do, using the like collective skill and instinct of the people they work with, it's incredibly powerful.
Today we have a real treat. We have a special guest, general partner at YC, our partner, Pete Kumin. He created Optimizely, which was one of the first and one of the best ways to do A/B testing for apps and websites. And since then, he has gone on to create all of our agent infrastructure at YC. So literally all of our harnesses and how we use AI internal to YC. Pete, welcome to the Late Code.
Thanks, Gary.
For the last few years since ChatGPT, YC has been funding mainly AI companies, and we've gone through like many different like versions of advice for them about how to build AI native companies that build like mainly AI products, and we've gone on a crazy journey with them learning all of this. I think a lot of people don't realize that internally YC is actually building and using a lot of the same stuff that we're helping our startups build and use themselves. And it's been, I think, a very powerful symbiotic relationship for us to actually be adopting these tools and like transforming our own organization, which was started way pre-AI, into a super AI native organization ourselves. And Pete has really been leading the charge for that. And so I'm really excited about this episode because I've actually been wanting to talk publicly about all the stuff that we built internally. And this is the first time that we're doing it. So Pete, perhaps to start off, can you sort of go back to the beginning and like talk about like there was a particular like moment when we really started adopting these AI tools internally? It was really you who got us started down that path.
Sure. Happy to tell the story here. And I like framing it that way because it was a project that I and a few engineers got started about a year ago, maybe a little more, but that has since snowballed into just a whole infrastructure layer that's made it possible for us to use AI internally at YC in lots of different ways. And that's actually been one of the neatest parts about this, is watching the whole engineering team and many partners also just dive in and contribute to this infrastructure layer. We started building our own harness inside of YC for kind of YC specific agents about a year ago. And the original impetus for the project was some of the work that I and a few of the software engineers at YC were doing with our finance team. Just for a bit of backstory, so YC has, for as long as it's existed, as far as I'm aware, run mostly on our own software. In this era, just given us a huge advantage, right? And so with that context, back to this moment maybe a year ago, we were sitting down with the finance team talking through a set of tools that we were going to build for them, just to help them run through some of their finance workflows, booking journal entries, logging priced rounds, like all the sorts of things that make YC run, really. I was seeing kind of two things at once. Like on one hand, we had this sort of loop going internally, right? Where we'd sit down with the finance team would describe to our software engineers how, this complicated financial workflow worked. And then the software engineers would go and build some purpose-built software where there was a deterministic workflow encapsulating everything that they had been told, and then hand it back to the finance team and so on. And it felt really inefficient. And then at the same time, this was right around the time when agentic coding tools were really catching hold, right? And so you had kind of the first generation Windsurf and Cursor that were well established by this point. I think this is right around when Claude Code was introduced. I felt like this was giving me superpowers, right? And then kind of watching this sort of old classical way of building software in YC, and then watching how I was doing things on my own machine, it just felt like a bigger and bigger divide between those things. And so the original impetus was, why don't we try to build some tools at YC that we could use to run agents that would give the finance team control over their own software, right? Like remove the software engineers from this crazy loop where they have to sort of understand these complicated workflows, and give the finance team the tools that they could use to encode their own workflows, not as Ruby, but as English with prompts, right?
I mean, what's interesting is like we all funded companies like maybe even like 2 or 3 years ago when LLMs were out, but like agentic coding wasn't a thing yet. And so the first thing actually was not agentic coding, it was LLMs for writing SQL queries.
Yes.
So that's what I remember from like the first versions of what you built, was how like good it was, and how basically it rhymed with like these other failed startups that we had funded. Like each of us probably funded one at some point. Here it was working, and it worked so well that non-technical people, granted very smart people from finance, but with no engineering background, could use these tools to ask real questions.
I was really surprised too, to be honest. And so that we started with this kind of purpose-built thing for finance, and then rewrote it to be more of a general agent loop, right? This is now, you see these all over the place now, but the first kind of magical moment that I had was we had this agent loop, and we had a tool registry, a shared tool registry for kind of YC specific tools. And the first tool that really was an unlock for me was, I think, a tool, looking back, that you actually built, Jared. It gave these agents the ability to run read-only SQL queries against our database.
Yes.
Right? It was two tools, actually. One was running queries against our database, and the other one was the ability to read our model files.
I remember I built those tools, and I felt a little bit like I was breaking the rules, because initially we started with very limited tools that had very narrowly scoped domains, and I kept getting frustrated because they weren't powerful enough to do the things that I wanted. And so I was like, what if we just gave the thing like complete access to the production database, where it could just like trample on anything? And I sort of like surreptitiously pushed it out maybe late at night.
And it worked.
And it worked. Yeah.
It worked extremely well, right?
Yeah, perhaps foreshadowing, subsequent things like OpenClaw, where it turns out that like the thing that was hampering the world was being worried about security and privacy and all the things that could go wrong. And when you like worry a bit less, you're like, oh my God, these things are unbelievably powerful.
It's another really good example of this weird split between I'm at work and I'm kind of operating in this really narrow box, and I'm at home using Claude Code or whatever, like OpenClaw or Hermes, and I can do anything, right? And trying to narrow that gap. So why was this so useful? This ability to run SQL queries against our database. It sounds really simple. Well, I think this is where it's important to talk about one of the big advantages that I think YC had coming into this experiment, which is that we run on our own software, and all of that software sits on one Postgres database that has everything that's important to YC's world in it. Every company that we funded, there's a companies table, there's a founders table, right? There's tables for our financial transactions. There's tables for the notes that I leave in our little internal CRM, right? All of these functions that I think a lot of other companies farm out to third-party SaaS tools, we've built our own. And as a result, we have this database with every important piece of context that I can now ask questions like, hey, show me all of the investors who invested in a space-related company in the last 4 batches, right? It just turns out when all of that context is in one place, with a little bit of additional information about how the schema is laid out, an agent can go and ask any or answer arbitrary questions about our business.
That was a magic moment for sure when I first saw that.
Yeah.
And the cool thing for me is that it didn't just make it easier to answer questions. It dramatically increased the number of questions that we would ask and dramatically increased the scale and complexity of the questions that we would dare to ask. Where, like, you know, in the old days, back when we were using like BI tools, to ask a question like that, you know, like what investors have invested like in space related companies, that would be like several hours of writing SQL. And so, like, unless it was really important, you just wouldn't bother.
It's just another example of this instance of Jevon's paradox that you get when you remove the amount of back and forth between different teams in order to get a thing done, right? If in order to ask some kind of complex question about YC, I have to go and knock on the data science team's door and wait for them to get it through their backlog, I'm just going to ask far fewer questions.
I mean, there are people out there watching this who work in places that still use it. The majority of people live in that world still, and it's 2026, which is a little unfathomable, actually.
There's a long way to go,
Mhm.
I think, which is really exciting.
I guess one question is, how do companies that live in that old world could get sort of wings to move so quickly? Because the magic for us was, as you said, the context was in one place that made it easy.
You know, if you think about data science historically, one of the first things that the Googlers had to figure out was Bigtable, right? And Bigtable was, instead of schema and joins, you have one big table that can be map reduced.
Yes.
And so I think that that's happening again. And I would argue that that's happening now with Karpathy style knowledge LLM wikis with GBrain. I mean, that's what I'm seeing anyway. Like, obviously I have an OpenClaw. It has access to lots of systems, and then I'm normalizing it to my own schema that's relevant to me and the things that I care about. And it is like denormalization. You're taking data and you're putting it into a format that is more or less optimized for OpenClaw or Hermes agent, like that particular type of harness to be able to ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
And it needs retrieval, it needs RAG, it needs graph RAG, it needs hybrid RRF, like there's re-ranking in there. Like, all the things that everyone has learned about retrieval is now inside GBrain. And then when you give the agents a soul and you give it the data and it knows you and what you care about, like suddenly these things have insane wings. Like, I just kind of can't believe how it sees around corners, and you might ask a question and it'll even sort of interpret what your question was about and like give you a thing that frankly, like, it would take a human who really knows you well to answer. All that's possible now. And so your question is like, all the data is everywhere. My answer from like the OpenClaw Hermes experience with GBrain is like, yeah, you basically have to take that you're going to denormalize it and you're going to put it in a format that is optimized for agent retrieval and understanding. You could wrap it in an MCP, but for whatever reason, I just like intuitively I'd be worried. Like, it's still sort of, these things are really good at working with MCP and CLI. Like, they're a little even better with CLI. It seems like you have to denormalize and do the big table thing, but, specifically for the agent.
Looking back over the last year and a half, it feels like we're still kind of in the single player era of agents where the harnesses that have gotten really popular, right? Claude Code, Codex, Pi, OpenClaw, Hermes, they're all designed to be used by a single human running on a single machine. And it makes a lot of sense, right? Because in that environment, these agents can do just about anything, right? And they make you incredibly powerful. They're a lot of fun to use. I think one of the big problems that I don't think has been solved well yet by anybody is the multiplayer harness, right? It's enabling that kind of superpower, but on a team or an organizational level, right? And that's, I think, been the interesting thing to explore with the infrastructure that we've built at YC is watching which primitives that we've created that have enabled individuals and teams to use agents. You asked the question about if you're working inside of a kind of a legacy organization, which is like anyone who's more than 2 years old, what are the things that you can focus on in order to help enable everybody at your org to use AI to do more. We talked about kind of this common context layer, right? And so a data warehouse where just as much of your internal important context lives, it just turns out is extremely useful. There are many tools for connecting individual agent harnesses to other MCP tools, other sources of truth. But just like a coding agent inside a monorepo just tends to be much more efficient, watching our agents operating on our single database that has everything in one schema tells me that there's a lot of value, at least in getting all of the context into one place. Having an internal tool registry, this is, I think, the other really important thing that we've built. So in the beginning, like we were talking about, it was just the whole system was really simple. It was like an agent loop and a simple tool registry and a few other pieces, right? Like a model router underneath. The tool registry is where most of the like YC specific stuff lives, right? Like tool registry is what turns these agents into something that's useful at work. And we had like 20 tools at the beginning, including this magical ability to query our SQL database. But over time, teams have added more and more tools. Every time we kind of come upon some piece of work at YC that we think could be improved with an agent, we can just add tools. And there's more than 350 today. I just checked, right? Every team is adding their own tools. I can do things like manage my office hours. Our finance team can book journal entries, right? We can help manage the events that we run. There's tools for all of the important work that we do at YC. And now, once these all exist in one place, you can make them available to these internal agents that we've built, but you can also make them available to Claude Code, running on our individual machines. So those things, above all, I think, were the important pieces that we built that if I were working in any other organization, I would focus on building.
I mean, honestly, inspired by what you guys did with tools, like this idea of Skillify in OpenClaw. And then actually the last part of Skillify is like this meta skill that I made in OpenClaw, where it's like you just do anything in OpenClaw and Hermes. Hermes actually already has Skillify. They call it something. It's like it makes skills automatically. But the most important thing I think is actually like plugging it into the resolver, which is like your agents.md with like the list of things that the agents can do. And then like it links to the markdown entry point that like lets you use a tool basically. And so like this thing keeps coming up in all these different contexts. Like Claude Code has a skill, the skill registry in Claude Code is actually a resolver. Our tool registry is actually a resolver. And then the weird thing that you have to do on top of that is actually, I have a meta skill called check resolvable that I call all the time. So I'm always like, I do something that's new or different in my agent. And then after it does it and I like it, I say skillify it. And then it becomes basically like a tool call or method call. And then I run check resolvable, which is like, look at all of the other skills and tools that exist, and is it dry, don't repeat yourself, and is it MECE, which is I'm embarrassed to say a McKinsey term for the consultants use it for making really good slide decks, mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive. That's like how you're supposed to do slides if you're a McKinsey consultant. But it's useful because it's like an additional layer on top of don't repeat yourself dry. And like the models just seem to know what those things are. And so if you have a dry and MECE resolver table anywhere, it's actually like the optimal resolver. Like it's bad to have 10 skills that do all the same thing. It's good to have one skill or one tool that has parameters that then let you call them. So I don't know. I think it's like this is like the wildest time to be alive as like an applied computer
Mac got rejected again.
because it's like simultaneous like discovery of the same useful applied concepts over and over again. And I wonder if like when people were developing the first versions of Unix or something, it's like discovering a stack and a heap. So it feels like we're right at that moment today.
Right.
Like we're just coming up with the new primitives for what an agentic system actually is, and you can see it in the parallel sort of development of like, we're just trying to do a thing, and it might be in Claude Code, or it might be in our own internal harness, or it might be in OpenClaw, it might be in Hermes. Like these things just keep coming back over and over again.
YC Startup School is back. We're hand selecting the most promising builders in the world and flying them out to San Francisco for July 25th and 26th to discuss the cutting edge of tech and startups. Apply now for your spot.
Yeah, it's really interesting to look at how some of the other companies that are building this stuff have built their infrastructure, because you see a lot of these same primitives in each of them, right? Like there's the agent loops, there's tool registries, there's skill registries. Looking at the way that we're using skills now at YC, so if you think of skill as a simple abstraction layer over tools, we have a handful of sort of shared skills that we all have access to through this agent system. And it's been interesting to watch. I think you've talked about this, where this progression of, like, in the beginning you were kind of writing your own system prompts, and then skills emerged, and so you started writing your own skills, and then you would start meta prompting, where you'd
Do
have
it
the agent
again.
write a skill. Exactly.
Improve the prompt
Yes.
automatically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Seeing us kind of do the same progression internally, where we have a couple skills, and now we've gotten to the point where we have these sort of autonomous self-improving loops, right? And so
Auto research from Karpathy again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or /goal now in Codex. Like they've incorporated it too.
we have this general agent that every night will go and read through all of the agent conversations that employees have had and look for things it could have done better and pieces of context that if it had up front, it would have done more efficiently.
This is OpenClaw's dream cycle.
Yeah.
And GBrain also has a dream cycle. This is a skill improvement dream cycle, but it could also potentially read all the transcripts and then write them back into the internal DB, into the internal CRM on like what we know about people and companies.
Indeed. And there are cool examples of using transcripts actually to make these skills more effective as well. One of the shared skills that we have is a skill that partners at YC use to help our companies write what we call two-sentence descriptions, right? Everybody here has written hundreds of these.
We should probably explain what a two-sentence description actually
Sure.
is.
So a two-sentence description is a concise way of explaining what your company does in natural language that anyone will understand and why it's interesting.
Sounds easy, but it's surprisingly hard for founders to actually.
And also, no
do
one
this,
does
yes.
it. Weirdly,
I gotta do that.
Like even
I
the
gotta
most
do that.
experienced founders like forget.
Sometimes-
because they have perfect context. Interestingly,
Oh,
I now realize.
I don't know. Like I've explained my product to like my in-laws, Mrs. Open Code with what? Open Code with what? Open Code added Memo free. Nice. If anyone's big on code review, 1 million contacts free right now. Nice. Give that a try. I've explained my app to like Mrs. Sigma, in-laws, people over here joining chat. I've always explained it differently. I wonder what AI or ChatGPT's way of explaining what my product does. I gotta like ask it so I could explain it that way.
YC itself is
Let's see Open
a
Code.
context engineering sort of process in that like
Had
people-
ChatGPT
we're
explain to me?
frequently teaching
Okay,
people,
got it.
You have perfect context about what's going on
And
in
it
your
said
brain.
that you're
but
different.
Great communication is replicating
I'm different.
that same context
I'm
in
different.
someone else's brain.
I feel so
And
good.
that's what a two-sentence
Because you
pitch is.
stop
Like,
agents
what
in
is
the
it?
right
Like,
time.
I don't even know
Yes.
what the heck this is. And then second part is like, is it interesting or valuable? What, is it worth my time? And so that, when I teach two-sentence pitches, that's my favorite way to do
Yep,
it. It's
at
like,
the
do I
runtime.
even know what the
At
heck
the
this
runtime.
is?
Yes.
Because if you don't know what it is, you can't even ask a question about it. It's
Yes.
like something about computers, I guess, whatever. What time is lunch again? And then the second part is equally important, which is like, if I've heard that, there are like 20 companies, like there are 5 other companies in this room that do
Let me
X,
ask.
like, and then I don't understand like why this is noteworthy.
Yes.
Like again, I'm
said
like, thinking about
you're-
my pastrami
what?
sandwich again.
It
Right?
said
So the two-sentence
you're
pitch,
not like the other
viscerally
AI
is
firewalls.
important for founders.
And it's a simple kind of
funny.
atomic thing that every partner at YC has practiced over and over.
That's good. That's
over
good.
again.
Thank you for
think
asking
Tom,
or asking it.
one of the partners here wrote a
I'm having a
skill
really
that
difficult time
teaches
explaining
an
what
agent
SSG
how to,
and SigmaShake
take some context about a company
desktop and what it
condense
is
that
to
into a
customers
two-sentence
and
description.
non-technical
And so that was his
technical
sort of
users.
handwritten prompt or skill
Right.
about how that was done.
Sorry.
And one of the cool things that happened in the last month or two was that a couple of the other partners took a meeting that they had with a group office hours they had with a bunch of the companies in the spring batch, and just went through and had
Can you
every
help me
founder
to explain it like
try
I'm
at
5?
a 2 cent subscription, and kind of gave them feedback and input. And so kind of the knowledge that lives in a partner's head about how to do this effectively was exchanged back and forth, right? And now lived in the context of that meeting transcript, and handing that back to the agent.
I'm
and
a
saying,
type C,
"Given,
so it's
what you've learned
a little
by
hard.
thinking through this
A
context,
little hard.
improve the 2 sentence description skill." And they got noticeably better after that. Like, this thing is now better than I am, I would argue, at writing those.
This is how super intelligence happens inside organizations. I mean, this 2 sentence pitch thing sounds like something kind of small, but embedded in it is actually something very powerful. I'm sure you guys have heard
Perfect.
Jack Dorsey talk about what he's doing with Block. He basically is
All right,
trying
let's
to
add
turn
this to
Block
my main
into
website at the
a
very
mini
top
AGI
on SigmaShake
around
Web.
helping people in the world make payments to one another, right? And then this is actually the micro mechanism by which he's
Add
going
some
to do that,
copywriting,
right?
stylish,
Like, you can look
to
at
keep it
the
short,
operation of any
make
organization
people understand,
as,
and really easy
the
to see and
aggregate
understand.
of, I mean, the 2 sentence pitch at YC that's sort of one of like thousands of
Any
things that I would argue
Y
would be good
Combinator
for
investor,
founders. But, we just walked
billion,
through a
trillion
very
dollar
concrete
portfolio
way where someone
VC
wrote
should
a
be able to
prompt,
understand
used
it
used a
immediately
bunch more,
when visiting
other
the page
people
at the very
used it,
top
a
on their
bunch of
mobile phone.
artifacts came off of that around literally like the transcript of using it becomes a thing that can be used to meta prompt and improve in an automated fashion on a daily basis the operation of that one skill. And then suddenly that one skill, when you said it, that skill is now better than any of us individually than before.
Should I add a beauty filter to my
And so
camera?
this is like a particular like
These guys look so crisp and clean, guys. I'm looking at it in 4K. Everybody's skin, the sun just reflects off their face and stuff. I feel like I need some moisturizer. Maybe. I don't really use any lotion, guys. This is just water. This is just water.
little pinprick in the fabric of like
Like, look at that. Wait.
how any organization.
Oh, I keep stopping at like a really bad frame. Really bad frame. He has some scruff, but skin looks good. Hair looks good.
You do that on everything.
The ears
And
shine.
it's not more complicated than that. Like, you literally just compose everything that you do, and any given thing that any given person can do, you combine that in aggregate and in this particular process, and like you have a super organization. It's possible now. Like, every single person watching this can do this at any company, at their own company. They can do it at their job. I mean, the interesting thing is that's why you should start a startup. Because people are going to be trapped in organizations with people running organizations that are very powerful and have all these resources and all this capital that do not believe what we just said.
Because they keep all the content locked down.
Right.
Oh
Because
man,
it's
that's so
unsafe.
good. That's so good, guys. Look what it says. To non-tech, AI agents are self-driving cars for code. SSG is the brake, seatbelt, and the dash cam all in one. I think. Sorry. I think that's really good, guys. I like that one. I like this one. I like this one. I like this. Copywriting so good, guys. Copywriting so good.
Things that we talk about, how to build an AI native organization, right? Part of the key thing is not to just use AI as a copilot. I think that's very 2023, 4, right? This is the thing where you use it as a really the building layer for everything, and you need to start recording all the artifacts. Like, people wouldn't have thought of
Guys.
meeting
We're already
recordings,
we're already
and
up there,
these are
guys. We're recording everything. Our screen, how we work. Guys, how much is my data valued at to Meta right now? They're literally having a program to monitor every single person use their computer. Why do they have to do that? They could just be my data. I sell to them, hey, Meta, if you're listening, you have to pay me. You gotta pay me for my data, okay? You gotta pay me. It's a proprietary license for my data and training data. Same thing for you, YouTube. Saying it right now. If you're training on my data, you have to pay me $10 million. $10 million if you're using my data without my permission.
All these meeting recorders have been taking off. People have been finding them with coaching them on the meetings.
Guys, I just got an email. I just got an email.
Output
They're saying that they'll pay the $10 million.
for you that you do, like writing emails, communication, planning. You have the whole context of everything.
It's funny to say, I remember the Dario essay where it's like there's some of the blockers on just the rate of progression of AI are not technical, they're just sort of like social, cultural things. I think it's kind of like a really interesting example. 2 years ago, it would have seemed, I just remember like, it felt odd to just like record a meeting, or like there was just like people trying to figure out what the like social etiquette around it was, and like how intrusive it was. And today I just feel like it's almost like default assumed that like most meetings are being recorded, especially if they're on Zoom, but just in general, like everyone started recording things now.
It's a little scary, but I think if you frame this as a way for everyone in an organization to get better at what they do using the like collective skill and
it's
instinct
Navi, guys.
of
Navi.
the people they work with, it's incredibly powerful. Having a
Oh man, she needs to look like this.
Description skill is
Guys,
not just a way.
Navi needs to look like this. Exactly like this, guys. Exactly.
A founder.
I saw, really quickly, guys, I saw something on 3JS on Reddit. And it had this guy doing like this particle thingy. Let me see if I can find it. This, guys. This will be Navi. This will be Navi, guys. This is gonna be Navi. We're going to build her. We're going to build her, guys. We're going to build her. Maybe with particles, who knows? She's gonna look just like this, guys. Somehow, I don't know how. We're gonna figure it out, guys. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out how to make Navi look like this. All right. We got our pictures. We got our pictures. All right, back to the lecture, guys.
Get better at understanding.
Oh, that reminds me.
For effective founder
we gotta watch more Stanford stuff while we still can, guys.
And hard. And you two have learned over the many years you've done this job, which are now kind of baked into this skill through the conversations that you've had.
It's like a shared organizational brain.
Yes.
And it's
like,
very
it's like
empowering.
the closest thing to us being able to like connect our brains.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
It totally is, right? And I can have an agent now come and I can do practice sessions with it, right? I can have it critique. There are so many possibilities once you get all of this knowledge into a place where an agent can work with it. It's a very empowering thing for every human in the organization.
There's some subtle, interesting things around here that, like, you know, other people might get wrong that, like, I feel like we've gotten right. I mean, one of them is by default, the agent conversation is actually globally viewable by any full-time employee at YC. You know, we sort of weren't sure about that decision. I mean, it felt right and it felt like living in the future, but it did not come easily. I feel like we had a lot of conversations about like, well, then everyone sees everything. Is that okay? And like, you know, what is not okay? And then I'm glad we made the choice to keep it open, actually, because
I agree.
People learned how to use it from watching how other people used it.
We used that transparency to solve several problems at the same time. One, every agent conversation, as you mentioned, was broadcast internally to a Slack channel. And anybody could join that Slack channel and look and learn, right? And I remember this is another kind of big unlock moment, was when you started using it really heavily. You were like super creative with the things you were doing with it, and a lot of us watched that and was like, oh wow, I didn't even.
You can do that now. Yeah.
To use it that way, right? It allows you to be a little more lenient on internal security, right? One of the things we talked about earlier was this trade-off where these agents are at their most powerful when they are given unrestricted access to lots of context, which runs counter to the way most organizations work. It turns out that by defaulting to public broadcast for these conversations, you kind of institute a bit of a social control on what people can do with it. That, as we learned, I think has been like reasonably effective inside of this high trust environment at keeping private information private.
Yeah, what's interesting is it betrays two traits of truly agentic, like 1000x super intelligent organizations that I would not have necessarily guessed would exist, but are now like must exist. If you want to create this type of organization, you have to be relatively egalitarian, and you also have to be trust by default. And then neither of those things actually are most organizations in the world. If you're the founder of an organization, you actually have to have those at the core of what you're doing.
And I think like that kind of environment honestly works best at startups, right? When it's a small group of people that are all aligned and operating in a high trust environment.
The other thing you have to do is be willing to spend like $10,000 to $100,000 a year on tokens. But if you're willing to do it and you invest in the skills and you like actually do everything in an open way with your team that way, like basically what I realize is it allows you to live in 2028, right? Like what you spend $100,000 or $1 million a year on now, it will be commonplace like in 2 years, right? It won't cost $100,000 in a year. It'll cost $10,000, and the year after that, it'll be like a couple $100, right? And everyone will do it, and we'll call it like this is how companies are now. So basically, there's a one-time time warp where you can leapfrog every incumbent, all Fortune 500s, all startups that exist by doing this.
Like I'm imagining in the 90s, I wonder if it felt similarly when companies started buying computers for their employees.
Yeah.
They were probably very expensive, and probably only certain companies
True.
really invested in buying these like expensive, flaky computer systems for their employees. But like, what a superpower to have a computer when your competitors like don't have computers.
I think more tactically how I've seen this affect YC has been raising the floor. The floor in a sense. What I mean by that is that you could have a new employee joining and maybe it would have taken them 6 months to ramp up. But with this, it's sort of like they automatically get a lot of the context from the company working and they know how the best people and the star players in the organization do things. By apprenticeship, automatically with AI instead of because partner time is expensive or sometimes the best people in an org, they're very busy.
See the
right?
website, guys.
And
See
you
the
get
website.
to kind of run the simulation of what it's like to be like Pete when he does like an awesome job coaching founders on sales, or like
AI
Gary
agents
when he's like talking to
for the
founders and giving very specific
self-driving
advice.
cars for
I think it
code,
helps
SSG
all
is
the
a brake, seatbelt,
new entrants in the
dash cam, all
organization
in
just
one.
be a mini
All right.
version of you a lot faster.
One of the first things that I appreciated about being able to use a coding agent was
When I
that
scroll
all
down-
of the dumb questions I was too embarrassed to ask, I had no trouble asking the agent.
When I
And
scroll
this is kind
down,
of that same thing, but at an
and
organization.
the user has the
right?
full
You're a brand
view
new
of the
employee,
demo,
You're embarrassed to ask. You
we
don't
need
wanna
a button to
charge
automatically
with a question, and
allow
now you don't
people to
have
focus on the
right?
demo
which
without
on that means
adjusting
a
the
lot
up and
more
down.
questions get asked
And
and answered.
once they're in
and
that
people ramp
space,
up
it
much
should
more
sort of
quickly.
autoplay to the next
After you
one.
had built all of this agent
Or
infrastructure
disable
at YC,
autoplay
it
by
inspired you to write
default,
this
or
essay,
whatever you
Courseless
think a new
Characters,
user
that went, like, pretty viral
would
on
do.
the internet.
Also,
Maybe you
the
can, like,
agent
explain
self-protection
the
is
ideas
off.
behind
It should be
Courseless Characters. I
enabled
think they're still
on.
very relevant now.
It was a
Update
critique of a lot
the UI
of
to
the
represent
AI
the latest
software that I
version
saw
of
being built
SSG
at the
UI.
time. And to be totally honest, I think a lot of it still falls into this.
It's still like that. Yeah,
Yes,
it didn't
yes,
change.
Yes. I just saw a lot of examples of companies building software and adding AI features by sort of slotting a little bit of AI inside of a lot of software, right? And the example that I used at the time was the kind of email writer that the Gmail team had shipped. But the real idea underneath was this kind of that the potential for AI is to shift control of software from the developer to the user, right? And the simple example I started with was basically that all of these kind of like AI as a little feature kept a bunch of prompt context about how the AI should do a job locked away and hidden from the user, which was just this classic example of like, well, it's the developer's job to figure out how all of this stuff should work. So the developer should write that, and we should protect the user from that kind of complexity.
Safetyism, I hate it.
Right, and you know, and it's just again going back to this contrast between watching the way that some of these tools work and what it was like to use a coding agent on my computer that could do anything, right? And feeling like I had superpowers. I think the conclusion that this essay points to is that as we get better at building AI native software, it's going to look a lot more like the agent wrapping software deterministic tools rather than deterministic software wrapping an AI. Right. And we've done our best to expose that to internal employees with some of these primitives that we've built. But we have a long way to go.
The chat as the interface, I just feel something. There's like things going around right now about how there's a need to build a new interface for like AI and what does that look like. And I think that just comes from people who haven't like touched and felt it yet. Chat is actually pretty good because like you trust the agent, you increasingly trust the agent to do more of the work, and you trust its decisions, and you don't actually need to like have too much of a UI to go in and like review the things it's doing. I found
It's
it
time for just-in-time software.
Yeah, basically, right? Like, yes, occasionally you want it to present you like maybe like a specific view of something, but
And it could make the software and build it as a single-page JavaScript just purposely
Yeah.
built for you
Yeah.
at that moment.
Yeah.
And it could be a skill file that could be like called anytime you want.
I was thinking a lot about this because I used to be in the camp that, oh, perhaps when ChatGPT came out and it was 2023, that perhaps chat was not going to be the UI for all these AI applications. And I've definitely changed my mind. Part of it is that after experiencing all these tools, and I think the more I reflect upon it, why chat is probably the better interface is because it's the closest thing to human language, and human language and writing is basically the closest thing to expression of thinking. So chat is the closest stepping stone to clear intelligence.
Yeah.
So you can't just put it in a box. I think it just constrains us too much to have a very specific box. So that's why I thought it's like, okay, all in with chat interfaces. I used to be in the other camp, and it's like,
and it's multimodal. I know we've talked about like Telegram is not ideal, but I actually
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I mean, the voice memos, sometimes when I don't want to type, you just do the voice memo, and it feels like I'm talking to
like I can give my
you know?
OpenClaw, like I can give it text, I can give it voice, I can give it pictures of things, like
It's great.
I can give it files, like it's like pretty good.
Yeah. I just experienced this. So like January, I think the last episode we did, I just talked about this. Like I spent January and through February building 500,000 lines of code for a Rails app, which was Gary's List. And it was like, you know, I know people make fun of me for like, it was a blog, but it was like, I built the blog in like the first week. Like I spent a month and a half building a full agentic framework that did like my own version of deep research and like fact checking. But the thing is, I built it the way I would have built software in 2013, the last time I wrote code. It was like the Web 2.0 version of this. And Claude Code lets you do that. And what's crazy to connect is like, I'm working like, I don't know, I think I wrote like 40,000 lines of code the last 3 days just for GBrain. And GBrain is basically Gary's List 2.0, but it's totally open source, right? So everything I had to write for
In SigmaShake
agentic
workspace,
retrieval,
I thought we
everything I
created
had to do
tests for
voice
VCS,
extraction, everything I had to do for
MMO,
fact checking,
and all
of
the
that now
OBS
exists inside
chat
GBrain, and I
related
just gave it to my,
services
you know,
for the-
Gary's
for the
List
stream.
team yesterday as their own OpenClaw
Can you
instance,
make
and they're flying now,
sure
right?
that's
Like they were
all
complaining about
updated?
like I had made, you know, this monolithic writer chat interface, and it was like full of bugs because I was like re-implementing things that OpenClaw and Telegram already do. And now they just use OpenClaw, Telegram, and my retrieval system with like all the same data that I extracted it out, and with our MCP, and it's working great. Like basically, you know, Gary's List 2.0, the next rewrite, thankfully, is not 500,000 lines of Rails code that is like insane to actually, you know, it's rigid. It's takes a long time. It like takes like 10 times long. You know, even though it was 1/100th the amount of time to do it like by hand, you don't have to do it by hand. Like that 500,000 lines of code in Rails is easily like 10,000 lines.
Anybody
of,
use Ruby on
like,
Rails?
TypeScript and like maybe
I did
2,000 lines
for a
of
very long
Markdown.
time. It's really
And
good.
all of
guys.
that is
It's really
way
good
more
for a full
dynamic.
stack
Like,
dev.
You could just say like, actually, for the second paragraph, I really like including a
Airbnb runs on it.
biography of, like, the
GitHub runs on
politician
it.
we're focusing on. And it's like, I
Spotify
don't have
runs
to
on
code
it.
that in Rails. I don't even have to write
I think
that
no,
into,
Shopify.
a
Shopify,
Ruby
not
file that
Spotify.
then gets evaled in like
A lot of major
complex
companies
eval
use it.
infrastructure. Like OpenClaw just
It's like
knows
immediate
that, and I
full
have an eval
stack
skill.
in one
My
framework.
editor-in-chief can just change it on the fly, and I didn't touch it. And it's like, this is insane, actually. Like, this is actually the dawn of just-in-time software, and I can see it right now.
The best AI software that I've used, whether it's inside of YC or tools that others have built, tend to be very small and just add kind of the smallest amount of code ahead of time that you need in order to let the model shine.
Mm-hmm.
And you can build an awful lot with that, right? I can write tens of thousands of lines of code like you're saying, but the ability to start at this like extremely
Navi
simple thing
needs
that I
to look
need
exactly
to
like in
understand
the
very
picture,
little in order to use
not as its
is
current
incredibly
state.
powerful. And I think most software in the future is going to look
We
like
were talking about this earlier, but I think that is what OpenClaw did really well. Like there were like a few things that you wanted like some ability to give it a bit of personality. You wanted it to like persist and last for a long time and have some concept of memory. It's not like perfect, but that's like actually like good enough as like for that use case.
Claude Code too. Every time Boris comes and speaks at YC, he spoke with Diana earlier this week.
And
One
she
of the
should
things that really
always
stands
render
out
in
is how
2D,
obsessed he is with
not
simplicity,
3D,
with just
but
like making
it's like a
the point as small as
2.5D.
possible.
My favorite example of this is this open source harness called Pi, which is a
That's
project.
what OpenCore uses as
Yes,
an out of the box
exactly.
coding agent.
It's this beautiful piece of software, which is just like the smallest possible coding agent. You can use Pi to modify and extend Pi, right? And
Hey,
it's
they're
this
talking
kind of
about
idea
Pi.
of like self-extending and self-referential software. It's
If only
really
we wouldn't get
fascinating.
banned for
You're right,
using it
OpenClaw was
on
built on top of that.
Claude Code
One of the
or
things
for
I'm very curious to
Claude
see is
subscription.
how many other sort of
I'd
pieces
use
of
it.
classic software emerge in this form as this kind of minimal thing that you start with and then use an agent to
Like
extend
NeoVim.
over time. I think more and more, I mean, looking at honestly the benefits that we've gotten from having our own customizable software, I suspect that a lot of commercial software will come with this capability out of the box in the future.
There's a really interesting subtle thing that I wanted to talk about around like what I learned from your essay, which is like AI can either be centralizing or decentralizing. And the Google Gmail, like I can't change the prompt thing is like the perfect example of that. We basically have a choice to be made over the next, I don't think it's even that long.
We
I think
had
it's like 18 to
goal
24
sessions
months. It
to
might take 5
increase the
years,
test
but,
coverage for all
there's
of
sort
our
two scenarios,
SigmaShake
and,
workspace
what comes to mind is
services
literally like
projects.
the,
And I don't
1984
really see much
Macintosh
progress
commercial
of
by
them
Apple,
being at
where it's
100%
like, is
coverage.
2034 going to be like 1984?
I know we were
And
focused
the
on public
1984
facing
case would
tests,
be we have
but I
centralized
expected
control,
more to be
like there are
completed.
5 kings. There's only one of them maybe wins. They have the most advanced AI. They have end run around all compute and power. They have all the space data centers because you can't build any terrestrial data centers in America anyway. There's this like centralization of control, and not only that, they don't let you run your own prompts. Like they literally do the Gmail thing, but like for your whole computing existence, right? And this would be as if like personal computers never existed and there were only mainframes and mini computers. Like this is sort of lost to the sands of time. But in the 1960s and 70s when computers
I
first
feel like
came
these
out,
get stale.
like you couldn't go to the store like you can today. You couldn't go to an Apple store and just buy an iPhone, let alone a Mac. You had to get access to like this thing that was worth like hundreds of thousands of
readiness
dollars to
checks.
millions of dollars,
And it was like tightly locked down by
The readiness checks
corporate
to be more
policies, right?
detailed.
And the thing that really spurred the computing revolution was when people started having personal computers that they could experiment on.
Yeah, and it was like the priesthood, right? There was a small priesthood and
Priesthood?
an institutional base that controlled capital, literally the means of production. And so, this is like
In
a
SigmaShake
coherent
workspace,
future
in
that
the
we could
readiness
live in that I
tab,
don't want to live
I
in. And
want
the
there to be
alternative
more
that is
detailed
actually, embedded in the homebrew computer. It's
GitHub
embedded
box
in the
checks,
revolution
check
that Steve Jobs and
boxes
Steve
in
Wozniak
progress
gave us
to
when they
see
were in the
what was
garage in
actually
Mountain View,
tested
literally soldering together breadboards.
and why it meets
And they sold
the
500 of
requirement.
these Apple Ones. And I think we're at the Apple One moment right now. We are
so that
coming
we
up with
could
the
drill
primitives.
down
We're
on what
learning
exactly
how
we
do
need to
these things
do
work and how do we
and
sell it
tell
and how do we package it.
the AI coding
But then
agent
there's like
what
a
they need
lot
to
of
work on,
choices right now, right? Like
risks,
most
importance,
people,
priority,
a billion
etc.
users use ChatGPT, and ChatGPT like gives you a little access, but MCP is really locked down. You actually, can't hook things up to your own databases that easily. And for what? Safety? Like I would argue Claude is like a little bit more open, but not really. Perplexity Computer is probably the best version of it, but it's still like, pretty
It's the
limited
Windows version.
compared to what you could do with OpenClaw and Hermes Agent. And so what does the
Do we have a
revolution
form
look
that
like that is like the
I had
true
a
personal
form
AI moment?
before
And
people
that's what I
download
hope that we are building
the
with things like
product
GBrain and
that they would
Hermes Agent and OpenClaw, like the ability to
what do you
run
call
your
it?
own software,
Get
to
desktop.
change your own prompts, to test all of it,
Enterprise
to have your
guide.
own private repo that like
Enterprise
is
guide?
only
No, I don't want
yours,
an enterprise
to
guide.
be able to choose which model to use, and maybe it's an open weight
Let's see,
model.
installing,
Like
right.
to me, that's sort of
Where's the
white
third
pill
party
for
review?
AI is we could have corporate control,
Man,
no
I had it at
control
the
of your
top.
own
I should have it at
prompts,
the top.
and like literally the AI happens to you. You know, you're under the API line. Or like there's this other alternative where I want like 1 billion people to actually control and program for themselves. What are these things? This should
In
be an
SigmaShake
extension of yourself and
web,
what you care about,
on
not what
the desktop
you know,
page
Meta
involving
or
installing at work,
Alphabet or even
we should
OpenAI or
have a
Anthropic care
pre-made
about.
I always really bristle
third-party
when I
review
see
form
AI
that can be
framed as a way
downloaded and
to
submitted
replace
to
people,
IT
because it just doesn't
and
match
compliance
the
teams
way that I have
so that
experienced it,
our
and the way that so many of the people around me have
it'll be our
experienced it,
response
not as a
form to their
replacement for humans,
potential
but
future
as a
questions
thing that empowers.
so that they
If
don't
you
need
look
to
at
ask us
kind of how
questions.
tech has
They
developed
automatically get
in
the
era
answers from
of
us.
mainframes to PCs to the internet, which gave everyone like a publishing platform to like it's a story overall.
Move
Above
the
all,
installing
of
at work
individual
section at the
empowerment,
very
and I
top
think AI
of
is going
the
to play out the same
SigmaShake
way. I think
desktop
it is
download
going to
page.
enable us to do more than we could before. I think it's going to eliminate kind of the drudgery style work that like made a lot of my job painful in the past.
To me, it's like we have to make choices to do so. By default, like a company is not open. By default, a company is command and control. By default, maybe the leadership gets access to these tools, but like the, you know, line level people, the staff people don't, right?
Oh,
And
why
like
does there's
we
no
need
brew
like a radically
installation?
different type of organization, and we need to actually offer computing in a different way. And these are all
Also,
choices.
the
and the people who are watching are going to
in
be
the
the people
desktop
who
download
build
section,
all these things in
the
society.
Apple
So
macOS section
we
doesn't
better
have
choose well.
install
Well,
using
that's all
brew
the time we have
command.
for today. I mean, I think we covered some pretty heavy stuff, but Pete, thanks for joining
That's
us.
it. That's
Thanks.
it. That's all we get. That was 40
Thanks
minutes.
for watching.
Damn. That was 40 minutes, guys. That was 40 minutes. All right, let's watch this one. Oh, this is the rage bait. The rage bait, guys. Man, Naval doesn't look too hot, guys. It looks like all his knowledge got sucked out of him. I guess that's age. That's age, guys. See here. 300,000 per, yeah, we already watched that. Okay. What are we looking at now? What are we looking at? AI Tokenmaxxing failed at Uber. Okay. Maybe. I feel like we need more Stanford online courses. We need to see if we missed anything that seemed important that we missed out on. Economics of AI supercycle. Stanford Robotics Seminar. Transformers United V6. Healthcare or human-centered AI, digital health. Language modeling from scratch. Okay, how about this one? Jensen Huang. 1 hour. Right. 2 weeks ago, I only remember listening to like somebody else talking about it, but we didn't actually listen to him talk about it. So I want to listen, see what the Jensen man has to say 2 weeks ago. He was in China too. So I'm rate limited. I'm just a mere mortal now. Oh no.
I would like to welcome back.
Even with Pi? Yeah, you're right. You can't take it from Pi, I guess, because they'll catch you with the headers. Funny.
Preacher Huang. We have been now locked in a global race.
Wait, what's wrong with the audio?
Way faster than NASCAR racing. And it's partly your fault. Jensen's been the preacher that's given us all the power we need, all the energy
Free
and
buff.
some more
To
have what I think has been the craziest 12
Oh,
months
so
of my life, certainly for many of
while
you.
you're here, what do you think? What do you think of Navi looking like this? So I have a prompt to make Navi look like this in combination of utilizing you support it? Awesome. In combination of the particles, the volume particles in 3JS. So it could create something like this. Boom. Boom. This is all 3JS. Bam. Boom. Man. Well, I mean, her voice model and my graphics card and my power supply all need to be updated, but you know, if it works like that, if Claude could create it, I'd be heavily happy of the results.
And we're just getting started. The energy with which you approach every single thing you do, including the class last year, and then every time I've had the chance to hang out with you, you've given so much time to the students, to the founders. Thank you. Should we jump right in?
Yeah.
Now he deserves to blow up. Yeah.
Rapid fire. What is co-design and why is it so important?
I'll answer that in a second.
Yes, please.
But this is a great time to be in computer science. And obviously the reason is because computing is being reinvented for the first time, as dramatic as it is, for the first time really in about 60 plus years. The computer that we know of, that you all use.
Guys, I'm starting to think his hair is a wig, guys. Is that fair for me to say? Like, how do you remain to have this good of a hairline? It's just so perfect, guys. He's taken some miracle grow for his hair. Meanwhile, look at me, guys. Man, I should take what he's taken.
Our computing model, our mental model of a computer, the architecture of a computer, how you
guys, I even have his glasses.
The program, how you think about even taking computers to market, what it's used for. For 64 years, it has been largely the same since the IBM System 360. In fact, my first architecture book for learning about computer architecture was the System 360's manual.
Do I look like Jensen?
And so a lot has changed.
With black hair?
As we went from PCs to internet and mobile and cloud and all those things. But the fact of the matter is the computing model, the fundamental part of computer science has largely remained the same until now. You know, for the first time, the way you write the software, how you process the neural network versus the software, and what the applications can do has now dramatically changed. Everything is fundamentally different. At the highest level, you know, one simple way to think about it is computing as we knew it before was largely pre-recorded. It's content that
local host 80. Hello.
Images, videos.
Hello, local host.
You know, software.
There's no place like 127.0.0.1.
And the nice thing about generating everything in real time is that it could be contextually consistent.
Should I source 6
contextually relevant to what it is that you're dealing with.
Use main figure body procedural face
it can
clips.
respond to your intention, not just explicitly to the things that you instruct. And so the computer is fundamentally different in that way. Now the question is, what does that mean at every single layer of the stack? From how the software is now developed, the methodology of it, how you organize your company to be able to develop software of today, completely changed. And so the methodology, the tools we use, the approach that we think about software coding, completely changed. How we run the software, neural network versus compiled binaries, very, very different. And so what does that mean to the computer system, the network, the storage? What does that mean to the software stack and the cloud services that sit on top of that? And of course, you know, everything about the applications. What did it open up?
You could make Navi take more of the screen size.
Somebody just came and said,
her screen size is very small. She needs to be at a probably higher resolution.
But
still
I've been working on self-driving cars now for about 13 years.
Base cam area in OBS.
And the days of robo-taxis are going to be
She should have full body
everywhere.
from head to toe.
Everything that moves will be robotic. And that's an example of an application that we wouldn't consider doing until deep learning and artificial intelligence came along. That was such a big unlock that, you know, I said, hey, aha, all of these problems that we wanted to solve in the past that we needed computer vision for, really are now fundamentally unlocked. And so it's how you think about every single stage of that. What is a software engineer? How do you organize the company? What is a computer for the age of AI? How do you architect that? All the way to what you can use it for, and therefore where you would deploy it. All of that has fundamentally changed. And for me, the journey really started about 15 years ago. And I had the benefit of seeing some early works in the area. And as all Stanford students do, you break the problem down, you reason about it from first principles, and you come to the conclusion, literally everything has changed. And so here you are, you know, computer scientist students. This is really the first generation of AI becoming useful. And where we, a couple of years ago, was in the generative part of AI. And as you guys know, generative AI
Why does it take
not
so
only
long
made it cool for us to do image generation and text summarization and translation and whatnot, but generative AI also enabled us to think. And so when I saw generative AI, you know, what other people saw was that it was able to generate images, and I surely would appreciated that as well. But the fact that you can generate thoughts in the form of images, but you can generate thoughts.
Needs to be better, guys.
You can also reason with it. And the ability for AI to think after GPT was very, very obvious. Now the question is how would you train, how would you fine tune an AI to be able to reason step by step by step, and how would you teach it how to do so at fairly large scale in a kind of semi-supervised way? And so those are kind of the engineering problems you had to solve. But the moment you see GPT, you say, aha, thinking is just around the corner. And thinking is generating tokens that you consume internally, and generating tokens that you consume externally would be called tool use. And so the idea that after GPT happened 2 years ago, that we would be at this moment was fairly easy to predict. Now, of course, unbelievable amount of technology was invented, and a lot of amazing people did amazing work, but you could almost see that moment here. And so here we are. You now have agentic systems. And so now the question is what's next? And what happens in a world where a computer is not responsive to what you ask it to do? It's not on demand. You know, today's computing is really on-demand computing. The word on-demand
that was 200 years ago.
Created in our generation to talk about how you think about using computers. Time-sharing computers that you would use on demand, cloud computers. And cloud computing, of course, is on demand, but in your new world of agentic system, the computers are now continuously running. And so what happens in a world where the computer
That's what a server is
continuously running?
It's a server.
What happens to cloud services? What happened to your personal computer? What happens to, you know, all of these different systems?
Everything turns into a server.
A great opportunity again to rethink all of that. And so what I, you know, is kind of my introduction to everything about computer science has changed, and everything about every field of science has changed because of the things that we've changed. And so this is a good time to go to school.
Okay.
That's it.
Go to school? What?
You know what?
Wait.
I'm just going to turn it over to the kid.
Wait, what did he say? What was your question? What was your question? What was his question, guys? What was your question again?
Okay. Question?
You know what? I'm just going to turn it over to the kids.
Co-design.
No, let's just go into the students have questions. They've all been asking questions in Discord. They're all voting.
Let's go to the question.
What is co-design and what?
What is co-design and why is it important, guys? Now the other guy, I don't remember either. Co-design, guys. Co-design.
Why is it so important?
All right, let's look at what co-design is. What does he mean by co-design? What is co-design and why is it important? Oh, no, not that code design. God damn it. What is code design and why is it important? All right, let's go with that. Intentional process of planning, structuring, and organizing source code before or while writing it, acting as a blueprint for how software components will interact. Okay, now we know. Now we know. All right, now let's go back to the portion of what's the question.
Okay,
that's it. What was your question?
You know what? I'm just going to turn it over to the kids.
Co-design.
No, let's just go into the students have questions. They've all been asking questions in Discord. They're all voting on each other's questions.
Co-design is really interesting, but it's not. Co-design is super interesting, and basically, co-design said back in the old days we abstracted computing so that.
Do you think he's going to go off this time?
People who design microprocessors. People who worked on compilers, and people who worked on languages, worked on languages, and so on.
Yeah. Of course they did. They worked on compilers, so they worked on compilers. People that worked on languages worked on languages. Easy.
We actually had different fields. But the problem, and in fact, this happened at Stanford. What's the beauty of risk? What was the beauty of the work that John
knows about programming?
The beauty of it
is you
got to think about compilers and microprocessor architectures harmoniously, co-designed, because otherwise you could end up creating a microprocessor that's super tight, and everything is maximally optimized. But unfortunately, it's hard to compile. It's difficult. It's not compilable. And so they created a simpler instruction set that exposed simplicity to compilers so that compilers could do a better job generating code. And it turns out a simpler machine co-designed with a compiler creates better performance than two systems that were optimized individually. That's very Stanford. Okay, this is part of your heritage, as all of your in John Hennessy's trail of amazing work that's left behind. And so you take that and you think about, well, what happens in the post world of general purpose computing? Why is it that every problem in computer science would be solvable by a general purpose instrument? At some level, you could say, well, if you had a general purpose instrument, you prefer that. However, there are some extreme problems, whether it's computer graphics back in the old days, or molecular dynamics, or quantum chemistry, or fluid dynamics and large multi-scale, mesoscale multi-physics problems, or deep learning. These problems are so computationally intense. Why would you use a general purpose computer to go do that? And so the big insight is, what if you understood the algorithms, understood the computer systems, understood if you will, the compilers, the frameworks, and understood the architecture of chips, and you were optimizing all of it at the same time. And so the facts, here are the facts. This is what happens when you do it, what I just described. NVIDIA is probably the first computer systems company that's extreme co-design. We literally co-design across all of that.
Literally,
and
my shell is
including CPUs,
frozen.
GPUs, networking, and switches, and everything, and storage.
I could go to other things.
And so the question is, what do you get?
Totally
well, Moore's Law back in the old days, you guys all know about that. Moore's Law was about 2x every 18 months, so call it 10x every 5 years.
Really rare for a CEO like that to actually know what their product is. Damn. Yep.
And
he's been doing it for 30 years.
For all the computer
of course.
Scientists.
He has to know. He's been the only. Oh my God, CPU.
A concept called Denard scaling.
Claude using 100% of my CPU. What's going on?
Several years ago, probably about a decade ago.
I'll just let it cook, maybe.
And we kept squeezing it. But over the course of last 10 years, if you just allowed microprocessors to continue
don't
to
underestimate
scale,
Jensen, guys.
Just
don't
touch
underestimate
the software
Jensen.
and just benefit from the speed up of semiconductors and microprocessor design, at best case, you would have gotten 100x, but probably because Denard scaling slowed down and Moore's Law largely ended, you probably got something along the lines of 10x over the course of 10 years. Well, in the case of NVIDIA and co-design, we got 1 million x over 10 years. 1 million x. And so somewhere between 100,000x and 1 million x. Okay, so
I don't know what's going
when
on
you're talking about numbers that big, it really doesn't matter. And so 1,000,000x over 10 years, we were able to get scaling and computation scale so large, so fast that AI researchers say, why don't we just take all of the internet? Why even worry about what data to go curate and what data to create? Let's just take all of the world's data and just give it to the computer. And that's really the big breakthrough. When you're able to do something so insanely fast, you know, for example, if you were able to travel at the speed of light, where we choose to live doesn't matter. If you were able to go from New York to California in 10 minutes, you know,
wow, that was weird, guys.
Our freedom, everything about society would change, right?
And now it's working.
If you were able to do computing a million times faster, everything about computing changed. And that's really the big breakthrough. Because of co-design, because of the way NVIDIA approached it, we accelerated computing by so far that it created all this infinite abundance opportunity for everybody to think about the future.
Abundance, so anyways, guys, abundance.
Cool. I have a
Where's our abundance? I'm still waiting for it.
That one word led to that.
GPT-10.
That's what it's like to work at NVIDIA. You give me one word and you get ranted at for about half an hour. Because I got too much to share with you.
The question is, how should education evolve in response to the industry as it's changing?
Yeah, and that's a really excellent question. And I think the answer clearly is AI should be part of your curriculum, not just in learning about AI, but using AI for the curriculum. The problem with textbooks, as you know, it takes an enormous amount of effort to do. And when I was taking classes at Stanford, Professor Hennessy was still writing his textbook. It was all handwritten out. And each week, it seemed like he was writing a chapter. I don't even know how he writes a chapter a week, but every week he was writing about a chapter. And then over time, all of those notes turned into a textbook, into the first edition. And that must have taken several years. And so I think it's not possible for universities, for, you know, pre-recorded textbooks to keep up with information and knowledge that's being generated in real time by AI. And so I think the future probably has to be some union of the two. And I don't know about you guys, but I can't learn anymore without AI. And so not only do I have the AI read the papers, but I also have, once it reads the papers, I might ask it to go read, you know, a whole bunch of the other papers that are associated with it. And then now it becomes a super researcher. And then I can first I ask it to summarize, I ask it some basic questions. And then after that, you interact with that paper as if it's a researcher that's dedicated to you. And so most people don't realize that. You know, I think a lot of people still think that you summarize a document, but in the process of summarizing the document, that AI learned a lot. And so, and I think that in the future, I do hope that curriculums are tightly integrated. I will say, in defense of the textbooks, though, I will say that first principles don't change. You know, in the final analysis, Mead and Conway is still a solid of fundamental methodology as before. It is true that the scaling process that led to constant current density, constant power density, all of those design optimizations associated with modern semiconductor design, you know, we've kind of exhausted all of that. None of that is ISO anything anymore. And so, but it's still good to know where we came from, you know, and so I would still encourage that to appreciate the first principles. And you know, while I was going to Stanford, I was already working at AMD and I was designing microprocessors at the time. And it was still really good to see simultaneously how we design things in practice versus the first principle methods associated with learning about eventually how to design these things. And I really enjoyed having, you know, feet on both sides of it, and I ended up learning a lot more. And so what that means is when you're using AI, which is real world, it's contextually relevant now. It's contemporary, and meanwhile, you have first principle knowledge that you're learning at the same time. You're kind of getting the same thing that I experienced.
The question is, what are your thoughts on open source? How does open source stay at the frontier?
Yeah, there's really the question of closed source versus closed proprietary software versus open source. There's a question of my intentions with open source. And so I'll start with my intentions of open source. First of all, NVIDIA uses more Anthropic and OpenAI tokens than just about anybody. And the reason for that is obviously we do a lot of coding, we do a lot of design, and 100% of our engineers are now agentically supported. And so I want them to be working with agents using the latest generation tools and modernize how NVIDIA does work altogether. Okay, so number one, if you can use OpenAI and Anthropic, I would highly recommend you use it. And the reason for that is because it's useful. It works really well. It's getting better all the time. And it's, you know, as you know, large language models is the technology inside, but Claude is a product, and Claude Code is a whole harness around it. And that harness is getting better all the time. The model's getting better all the time. It's not likely that anybody open source, go to GitHub, download something, it's going to work nearly as well. Okay, so I highly recommend it, and we do use off-the-shelf frontier AI models. The question is, why is it that we're advancing and working so hard on open models? The reason for that is because language models are very important because they represent the codification of our intelligence, and we want to automate ourselves, especially is a very important part. But you need to know that AI is about learning the representation, the meaning, the structure of information. And so the question is, where is information? Well, we're living in information right now as we speak. The reason why there's structure is the reason why every day you show up, it's kind of largely the same. Otherwise, it'd be like practically white noise. And so the fact that biological systems and physical systems have structure, and from that structure, I must be able to learn higher level representation. And if I can learn the representation, then I could manipulate it. Then I can, does it make sense? And so just because I can learn the representation of language, I can then generate it, I can manipulate it, you know, I could put it to use. And so I want to do the same thing for chemicals and proteins and genes and physics and physical systems, robotics, for example. And so notice the way you represent all of those things are fundamentally different because the structure is different and the dimensionality is different. How you train it is fundamentally different. Right? Because you don't have a whole bunch of internet corpus of human language on it. And so you've got to come up with new strategies for all of that stuff. And so we decided that we would dedicate ourselves in some fundamental pillars of, and because we have the company has the talent and the scale, we have the ability to put the first piece of artifact out in the world, data, model, how to train it, in several different domains. And so some of the domains I care very much about, one of them is called, of course, Nemotron's language, and I'll come back to that in a second. Why it is that we're doing it? And then second is BioNemo, that's for biology. And we have AlphaMyo, somebody mentioned it earlier, for autonomous vehicles, basically artificial intelligence, navigation. And then we have Groot, which is humanoid articulation, robotics, artificial general robotics, and then we have climate science, you know, basically mesoscale multiphysics. Okay, and so all of these different areas, these different domains, we decided that we should go and pioneer it, and the reason for that is because otherwise the scientists in these different domains, they simply won't have the scale and the technology necessary to go build that foundation model, and so we decided that we would do that. Okay, so that and as a result of doing that, we activated healthcare, we activated life sciences, we're working with every single self-driving car company in the world. Doesn't matter which one it is. You know, there's NVIDIA in there somewhere, and so we enabled that entire ecosystem to really flourish, and we're working with robotics right now, and you know, so on and so forth. Okay, without us making that first effort and building a foundation model, it's hard to activate the whole industry downstream. And so it's really about expanding AI and democratizing this capability. The reason why we do language models is because two reasons. One, there are too many societies where the scale of their language is not big enough for somebody else to decide to make it a high priority. They'll understand Swedish, but making Swedish a top priority is not likely because the country is big, but not so big. Chinese, of course, well taken care of. Indian, certain dialects very well taken care of, but as you know, you have like 230 others. And so there are too many others. Now, unless you deeply care, it's never going to be great. And human intelligence, no matter the size of your population, somebody should care. And so we created a large language model that's near frontier. Nemotron is close to frontier. And we make everything available so that if somebody wants to then fine tune it into whatever language of their choice, they got no trouble doing that. Okay. And then the second reason is very important is because we want to also take these language models and fuse it with the domain specific models because of human priors. So for example, AlphaMyo is a language model fused with a world model. And so on the one hand, it's really designed to detect cars and roads and things like that. But on the other hand, we also believe that if the AI model, if AlphaMyo, the self-driving car model, can reason like a human, and it could reason with human priors, then the amount of experiences it needs to have before it could be an extremely good and safe driving car is dramatically reduced. The amount of training data is reduced, and we've proven that. AlphaMyo is probably one of the most effective self-driving car systems in the world, and it's really only experienced, a few million miles, not billions of miles. And so that kind of the system actually works. Okay. So anyways, I just gave you a long-winded answer I broke it all down. You can't just ask a simple question.
What we talked about.
But open models is really important. And one more thing. Okay. If that wasn't enough, one more thing. If you care to have AI be safe and secure, it has to be open. And the reason for that is you can't defend against a black box, and you can't secure a black box, and you can't put a black box of some incredible capability into your system with it completely opaque. Now, of course, there's a lot of different ways you could
I'm not sure about that. I don't see CrowdStrike or any leader in cybersecurity open sourcing their products, guys. I don't see any of them do that.
Of the opaqueness. For example, you could say, before it does anything, you have to reason about it to me step by step. Before you do anything at all, you have to come up with a plan. You have to reason about it step by step, but you could always lie. And so the ability for the nice thing about transparent systems is that then, everybody gets to interrogate it. If you have a transparent system, then researchers get to use it. If you have a transparent system, open system, then the way you defend against super agentic systems in the future for cybersecurity is obviously not to go into a battle of who gets the better one. You come up with some model 7.0, and the only way I combat against that, I'm completely vulnerable until I come back with a 8.0, and then you got to come back with a 9.0, and we just go back and forth, driving each other nuts. And obviously, that's obviously not the smartest way to do it. The smartest way to do it is you're gonna create.
That's exactly what's gonna happen, though.
Cybersecurity systems, these cybersecurity threats, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna have millions, billions, swarms of cheap AIs, and we're gonna systematically surround it. And so it's kind of, if you will, a giant dome. So, for example, Nemotron Nano is being used for cybersecurity. And so all these cybersecurity firms take Nemotron Nano because it's so fast and so cost effective. You can train it to detect cyber attacks and then just deploy trillions of them. Yeah.
Trillions?
On the topic of open scaling, we hung out in January and
I feel like, that one scene in Thor? Do you remember he was just hanging and he kept rotating in that direction?
It's zero gravity. Here at AI Coachella, we got no gravity.
Thor, Ragnarok. Do you guys remember that?
We can move a little bit back.
No, that's
okay.
You guys don't watch movies?
Well, we have a whiteboard too, if you want to get off and walk. But in January, we talked about
go ahead and draw it on the whiteboard.
We talked about bottlenecks.
I want to see it.
We talked about data as one bottleneck, compute as another bottleneck. There's at least one experiment that we announced at GTC together, which was the coalition scaling idea. The second is on how to improve utilization on compute, which is increasingly scarce. It came out last week that there was a memo at XAI that said their Memphis cluster pool is running at 11% MFU utilization, which I think corresponds to something like 11 billion or something of unutilized MFU flops. How can the open space, maybe you could talk a little bit about why coalition scaling is an experiment worth trying. And we have Brian coming actually in the final office hours to talk about progress. And then how do we get utilization to be better for the open ecosystem when you don't have fully integrated companies that can optimize up and down the stack?
Yeah. Do you guys know what MFU is? And so FU, do you guys know? You guys don't use that anymore? So MFU is just simply wrong. Okay, it's the amount of the percentage of
we need to make a change to the contact page. It says the contact sales, but
while doing your work,
when users go from the desktop page to contact security, it says contact sales. What the heck? Oh my goodness, guys. My Firefox just crashed. It just crashed, guys. Sorry, man. I'm sorry. We know where it is, though. We know where it is. We'll get Jensen. We'll get Jensen, guys. We know where that video is. We know what the video is. Bam. Right here, guys. Right here. But not sure why that crashed.
$50 million, and we thought
Educators can get
no
repetitive.
I don't mind.
So if you'd like to transmit, feel free to. What is the next question we should take? The question is how best to spend their mental faculties over the next few years.
Yeah, so first of all, on the pain and suffering comment, there's some kind of there's some advice that says you should choose what you love and what you're passionate about. That's what your career should be, and I think that's terrific. I think that's terrific. You know, if you happen to know what you're passionate about, if you happen to know what you love, but I think there are a lot of people who don't know what they're passionate about, and they don't know what they love, and the reason for that is because nobody knows everything. How could you know what you don't know? So in a lot of ways,
that is true, guys.
The idea
that's true. He's right, guys. He's right. Honestly, to find something with passion, you join a community or club of some sort, like this one, this one. But I found my passion in security when I joined a security club in my local college. And, you know, I met people around me, or I met people that were similar to like me, you know, like somewhat security conscious, always making fun of like things being unlocked or insecure and stuff, or being paranoid about your data and stuff. And yeah, when you meet the right crowd, you meet the right people, you know, join the right community, I think your passion just grows from there. Otherwise, if I didn't join that club and I just stayed working at my day job, doing some IT stuff, I probably would have never discovered my passion type of thing, or, you know, future career. I might have just been like playing video games all day or watching Twitch all day or something. But really takes like going out, you know, going out of the comfort zone and figuring out what other people that are like-minded like you, and, you know, being around people that you could just talk about random stuff about the subjects that you like. Me, myself, honestly, I just wanted a job that got me involved with a computer, but that was IT. But as I was, you know, going through the IT phases of like help desk, system administration, you know, basic IT support and managing servers and systems and Windows domains and domain controllers and rolling out FTP servers and email servers and managing IT for several businesses. It eventually like didn't really spark much of a passion. It definitely felt like a job, guys. It definitely felt like a job. Security doesn't really feel like a job until security incidents happen. That's when things get real. But, you know, everybody finds different things. You gotta just keep trying new things all the time.
You would only choose careers that give you passion, that gives you, you know, makes you happy. Is a bar that I think is too high, number one. And the reason for that is because whatever you decide to do for a living, whether it's you found something that you're passionate about, or this is your job. And in my case, you know, I used to be cleaning toilets and bussing tables. It was my job. And I will do the best I can in my job. Whatever you give me as a job, toilets. I will do the best I can possibly do. And I do that today.
Be the best.
Now,
toilet scrubber.
There's a misunderstanding that somehow CEOs, we love our job. And you know, many CEOs, I'm passionate about my job. I love my job. They're lying. There's not one CEO who can say that, from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed is just zippity doo dah. The fact of the matter is, I really love doing 10% of my work, and 90% of my work is hard, and I do it to the best of my ability anyhow, and I suffer through it. I literally suffer through it. I prefer to do something else, that other 10%. But that other 10%, there's only so much quantity of that. And every company has abundance of problems, and there comes in different types. And you're going through life, you're going to have abundance of problems that are going to come in different types. And you just have to learn how to condition yourself to want to get to a better state, no matter how hard, to get better, no matter how hard. And that's suffering. You don't like doing it, but you're doing it with all your might anyways. What do you call that? That's suffering. And so I think that when you suffer and you have the benefit of struggle, and you're being presented with many opportunities like that,
character
it
building,
teaches
guys.
you resilience.
Yep.
And when the
character
time
building
comes,
yep, character building, guys. You gotta do the grunt work. Do the grunt work. Start from the bottom, work your way up. Everybody starts somewhere, right? Nobody starts at the very top immediately. Like you need to build the character to be resilient to criticism, and move in the right direction, learn from other people's mistakes, take in feedback, how to handle feedback, how to learn from feedback, how to be humble, understanding, confident, how to build up your social skills. Social skills is like one of the hardest things, to be honest. Like I don't know how I built my social skills other than like making a friend and just talking with a friend all the time. I really feel like, yeah, in order to build the social skills, you just gotta keep talking. Just gotta keep talking. Always talk. Being silent can only get you so far, and thinking stuff. I think there's a difference between like thinking when you're like listening to somebody and then you're thinking, but when actually you're saying the words, sometimes the words and the thinking don't match up. So you gotta keep them in sync. Because sometimes you could like think about something and talk, and then you forget what you're about to say. And I do that all the time, guys. I do it all the time. Lose my train of thought all the time. I don't feel bad though. But I think, guys, what's really helping me talk in front of a camera, guys, I think there's a tip maybe for Zen or people that want to stream. But I actually look at myself in OBS. And I think it's easier to talk, honestly. I'm looking at myself in OBS every time I talk to you guys, and it feels like I'm talking to somebody. For some reason, even though I'm looking at myself, I feel like I'm talking to somebody. I feel like I'm talking to somebody when I look at myself, guys. And I look pretty cool. I look pretty cool with these VFX. So every time, like, maybe as a tip, guys, you might find it hard to... I don't talk in front of a mirror, guys. I don't. But I realized that if I look at myself while talking to you guys, I could actually, like, properly give a good commentary and dialogue. But if I'm looking at the screen like this, if I'm just looking at the screen, it's really hard for me to, like, think of what to say, guys. I don't know what it is, guys. There's some next level psychology here, guys. Next level psychology, guys. Maybe it's a secret technique that the streamers don't say, but I think it honestly helps, guys. It honestly helps. Like, you get to see, like, how you look as you're talking, and I think that's a secret, guys. I think that's one of the secrets of streaming. I don't know. I could be wrong. It could be like a narcissistic thing, but when I have somebody to like actually talk to and see how I'm talking, it actually helps. I don't know. Let me know. Let me know. Give it a try, guys. Give it a try. Also, it's good to like not talk to yourself. So make sure there's some viewers in the chat so that you're actually like talking to somebody and not talking to yourself. That helps, right? Because if you're talking to yourself for like hours and hours and hours and no one's there, I guess it makes sense for like a YouTube recording or a Twitch recording. But honestly, this helps me. This helps me. I look it out on my other screen. I just look at myself and I talk, and it builds Talk to yourself all the time. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, uh-oh. I don't know what happened there, guys. It just automatically like resized it. But I think that's a technique, guys, that's helping me talk to you guys. And not to mention, guys, when you chat, guys, I'm actually looking at this. I'm actually looking at the chat bubbles, and then I look at myself to see how I talk. But if anybody wants to, potentially be a streamer one day, and I started from 0 and work my way up, with literally no friends, no nothing. It really helps, building that social skills. And then if this is a tip that helps you stream, then let me know. Let me know that I helped you somehow. All right, moving on.
And the world or your family or your company or your colleagues, they need you to be tough. They need you to be resilient. They just need you to be able to fight through it. You can't have you don't have that character about you. You don't have that muscle unless you've gone through it a whole bunch of times.
Yep.
And so, I'm
guys,
advising.
You want back on the muscle? Going back to the muscle? Guys, when you put life to, I don't know, not Zen, Karak said that he did like 100% all the interviews he got, but he must be at the very top level, right? But for people like me who have the brute force, I had to fail 1,000 times to get one win, right? 1,000 times. And I think the perseverance, resilience, determination, and maybe my genetics of not giving up was probably the case to my somewhat movement and improvement and just getting better. I view like life is like a video game, guys. There are some cheat codes. There are some ways you could level up and keep grinding to level up. But yeah, grinding, I've always been a grinder, guys. Always been a grinder. You put in the time, you'll get good. Don't put in the time, you won't get good. Easy formula. Just keep grinding away. Brute force. Sure, you could ask AI to cheat and stuff and give you all the tips and techniques. But for all that information to fit on your brain, it requires, some brute force here and there. I was just dealing with something, and the person was not brute forcing enough, and so they didn't have enough time to solve a problem in time. So it really helps, guys. You gotta build that muscle. Main story right here from Jensen himself, not just me. Build that muscle. Although I'm not doing a good job, guys. I haven't been doing my push-ups. Haven't lifted some weights yet, and I feel sore every time I lift up some weights. But my body remembers. My body remembers. So if I go to the gym and do all the stuff, my body will restore back to its original shape. But yeah, build that muscle, guys.
That you not seek for just joy, that you also seek for some pain, some suffering, because you're going to need it someday. And then lastly, it's just your job,
As Preacher Huang once said, don't wake up with a loser mindset. The question is, what's your favorite order, Denny's?
Why do they keep asking this, guys? Why do they keep asking this question? Makes no sense, guys.
After all these years, frankly, it's about time, right? And so there was that one Chinese restaurant, and Woodstock's, of course, right? Corvallis Woodstock's Pizza. It's still pretty good, isn't it? Woodstock's.
It's solid. I like American Dream better.
American Dream's better. Okay, all right. I'll be back there soon enough. And so Denny's, I would say, surprisingly, the fried chicken is really good. So, it's a slightly on the sweet side. Superbird is excellent if done right.
Superbird.
Okay. And then another one, if they're willing to make it for you, make it like a Superbird, okay? But as a grilled ham and cheese with tomato and mustard. And if they're willing to make it for you.
It's definitely Americanized, guys.
And so, but that's because I'm not because I'm an alum. They know. Hey, use the bus tables here. Yeah. We'll make special for you. But those are all good. You know, the Grand Slam. You know, I enjoy it. Like a pig's in a blanket. So that's pretty good. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Good. I go all day. At Denny's, I had my first hot fudge sundae. I had my first apple pie with cheese on top. That's like for a Chinese kid, is like, what is that about? That doesn't make any sense. But now you think about it, makes perfect sense. You know, apple and cheese. But anyways, I had a whole bunch of. I had my first milkshake when I was at Denny's. I had a whole bunch of firsts. Yeah, Denny's was eye-opening for me.
Man, before we lose you to memory lane, next question, please.
Those are some of the most important questions.
Agreed, yes. The questions about your thoughts on adversarial countries getting access to NVIDIA chips.
First of all, so you know what we make for a living? We make GPUs.
Remove all reference of being a Delaware C Corp. We're
GPUs
just
are used for
going by
video
individual
games.
entity.
They're used for delivering soy sauce. They're used for medical imaging. If you I had a CT scan.
Comb the whole entire code
yesterday, I'm
base. Make
fine,
sure we never
but
make this
behind
mistake
it was
again.
NVIDIA. NVIDIA is in every single medical imaging system in the world. And so the question is, what is it that you build? What I'm fundamentally against, and it makes no sense to this moment, is to compare NVIDIA GPUs to atomic bombs. There are a billion people with NVIDIA GPUs. I advocate NVIDIA GPUs to all of you. I advocate NVIDIA GPUs to my family, to my kids, to people I love, but I don't advocate atomic bombs to anybody. So that analogy is stupid. And so if you start from there, you can't finish a thought. If you start from believing that, you can't finish the rest of the thoughts. The second idea that I consider completely ridiculous. Why should American companies go compete in foreign countries? You're going to lose it anyways. So why go? Well, if you guys all apply that same philosophy, why wake up in the morning? And so I don't prescribe to we are going to lose anyways. I don't prescribe to that. If you want me to lose, you're going to have to deal it to me. But, you know, I'm going to have to put up a fight. And I've put up a lot of fights over the years. I'm doing okay. And so I think that, and as you know, the battle, the competition serves markets. It enhances your company. I'm not a little bit afraid of having to go and compete in the marketplace. But the idea that I'm going to lose anyway, so why go compete, makes no sense to me. And then lastly, the idea that somehow we should deprive certain countries of general purpose computing, and we can all acknowledge now NVIDIA is a general purpose computing company. I just gave you a whole bunch of general purpose use cases. Is a general purpose computing company to be deprived of that so that one or two companies could benefit from depriving other people of it. That makes no sense either. Why should one industry suffer so that another one company benefits, another one or two companies benefit? The American technology industry is one of our national treasures. You are going to be part of it. And if I do my job, when you are done graduating, you're going to graduate into the mightiest computer industry and the mightiest industry in the history of humanity. But if we give it up for some reason, or we through policy decide that we can't go and sell and concede 2/3 of the market to the 2/3 of the world to other companies, by the time that you graduate, you would have gone into a shell of an industry. That shell of an industry we've seen before. A long time ago, the same arguments went against America in telecommunications. Today, America has no telecommunications fundamental technology anymore. It was all completely policyed out of our country. And so somebody has to put up a fight for that. Some of these reasoning systems to say that AI is going to come and it's going to be a singularity moment. That singularity, that moment, the moment it comes, it's going to be the most powerful thing in the world. It's come as a flash. We have no idea whether it's going to come on Wednesday or Thursday at 7 o'clock. But when it comes, it's going to be game over. Some percentage chance that it'll be the end of society as we know it. Come on. We all watched Dune. We don't have to repeat it.
Wait, did he just say we all watched Doom?
Come on. We all
Dune. Oh, okay, Dune. I thought Doom. All right.
watch Dune. We don't have to repeat it. And so I think that living their fantasies out, their science fiction fantasies out.
I don't remember there much being AI in Dune.
Demonstration, when everybody is relying on their words and believing the words, is irresponsible. It is not true. It is not true that we have no idea how these systems work. It is not true. It is not true that the technology is going to somehow, in some nanosecond, become infinitely powerful, and therefore it's going to take over the world. It is not true. It is not true. There's no way to defend against it. It is not true. These things are all being made up, and it's made up in a way that unfortunately even harms all of you. You're in computer science. You're hoping that when you graduate, people care about computers.
I just want a computer job.
We want to create a future that is optimistic about the technology that you are learning to master. We want to create that future. We want to make sure that we want to make sure that everybody benefits from AI. Everybody should have AI. Nobody should have nuclear bombs. Can you guys agree with that?
True.
And so, okay.
Trust.
And so young man, thank
Friendly?
you for training me.
Is that made up? That's probably made up.
Okay, so
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We call
I just wanted to get it out.
So
It
we're
must be a
rational
test.
optimists here at AI Coachella. So we believe in
Run
optimism.
mix test.
I'm going to push back a little bit on a different angle. I completely agree. Reasoning by
Run
analogy is a
test.
problem. Once you start with bombs, you do first principles. What we are observing
Don't say bombs.
is that we are
Don't say
compute constrained in
bombs.
America.
It's a bad
Independent
word.
teams, startups, universities, they can't get compute. So from a preference order perspective, shouldn't America get first priority to a scarce resource before we start shipping it off?
Absolutely.
But that's not happening.
Absolutely not.
There's the gotcha.
Yeah, absolutely and absolutely not. And
Why
the
not?
question is, why not? There's plenty of chips. You guys, if the president of Stanford places an order, I promise you I'll deliver it. I have, no, absolutely.
You guys heard it here. All right.
Ahead of, this is not funny. This is not funny.
We are dying out there.
No, this is not funny. That's right. This is a serious matter. It is not true. It is not true that people are giving me orders, placing orders, and we're not delivering chips. It is just not true. You gotta place orders. The fact of the matter is the fundamental problem is actually something very different. Stanford needs compute. Science needs compute. The fundamental problem is the system is no longer built to be able to deliver massive scale compute. And the reason for that is because, just think, all of the research departments here at Stanford, they're all in different departments. You all raise your own funding. You all get your own grants. Nobody's going to go share their grants, but none of the grants are big enough to have a large enough compute that you use some of the time, but when you use it, you need it to be incredible. The world moved away from those centralized computing environments towards everybody just using laptops. This is today's computing environment. And fundamentally, all the universities, Stanford's not alone, you don't have a budget for $1 billion compute. It doesn't exist.
But whose fault is that?
Stanford's. And the reason why you have to say that is because
that's good, guys. This is good that Stanford doesn't have godlike compute, guys. That's a good thing. That gives everybody else a chance. Gives everybody else a chance. Everybody has to download Claude Code or GPT to get what we want. Don't give it to the rich Stanford people, guys. They already have enough money. They have to start like the bottom, like everybody else.
When somebody is at fault, you empower them to solve it. Do you agree? When you say, "Oh yeah, it's not your fault, son. It's not your fault. You're a failure. It's not your fault."
Oh my goodness.
It's not
He's
your fault.
talking to me right here.
It's not your fault.
Hey son, you're an idiot. It's not your fault. No, it's absolutely your fault. And so by saying that it's absolutely your fault.
Oh my God. Are you going to tell that? Yeah, I guess if you want to be real with your kids, guys, you just tell them that they're a failure and it's their fault. It's their fault. Asian parenting kicking in. Oh my gosh, yes, dude. Why are you so stupid? Why are you so stupid? Oh my gosh, man. Guys. I don't know what it is, guys. But even if, when my parents told me that I need to like study and do all this stuff, I still just play video games, guys. I still do until they like, you know, gave me the boot and I figured it out, figure how to survive on my own. That's when things got real, guys. That's when I'd be like, guys, I gotta treat this like what the heck? I gotta treat this like this does not look like Navi at all. But she's getting better. I'll leave that right somewhere here. But yeah, that's when things got real, and you gotta like start using your brain now. You gotta start using your brain. It was either use your brain or do drugs and be homeless on the street. What's the better? The life that I wanted was a computer. Be with a computer, guys.
Well, you're also empowering yourself to solve it, isn't it?
And I hope Navi doesn't blow up, guys.
You're
I hope
empowering
Navi doesn't
yourself to
blow
solve
up.
it. And so the question that you just talked to somebody who kind of feels, you know, I can do
Goal
something
achieved.
about my future. You're talking
It's
to
just a
somebody
static
who
PNG.
believes
This
in it.
isn't the
And so if I
dynamic,
were Stanford, you
fluid
just have
physics
to,
of
you have to find a way
3D.js that I
to
wanted.
change the way you do budgeting, the way you deal with computing. You have to find a way to aggregate and build yourself a linear accelerator, just like Stanford has done in the past. We need to build campus-wide supercomputers that everybody share. Now, you could also go and just contract somebody else to do it. I mean, that's all possible. But you do need to have, you know, $1 billion. You need to have some
I have $1 billion, guys.
to go.
Guys, I don't even
build
think $1
something
billion
like this
is
because
enough.
That's how much it costs. But that's just what it takes.
I mean, last I checked, we've got a $40 billion endowment here. How would you put that to use if you were stepping
I would
into
cut $1 billion of it right away and give it to somebody as a cloud service, and have every single student and every researcher here have access to AI supercomputers.
I think they need like maybe $20 billion.
Of course, you've got to go
probably
plan things. You don't. If you want to buy $1 billion worth of tomatoes, you don't show up to the grocery store and say hi, and then they don't have $1 billion of tomatoes, and you go, aha, you're withholding tomatoes from me.
Oh.
That's just ridiculous. And so you know, so you got to do some planning. And so what you got to do is you got to say, next year we need to have $1 billion worth of computing for Stanford, and
next year, guys,
we'll go build it.
Guys, we only have 10 months.
You know what? We'll move on. But thank you.
Guys, we only have 10 months until Stanford starts doing some crazy shit. Some crazy shit, guys. We don't have much. We don't have much time. Yeah, what's going on? Yeah. 57 something. Uh-oh. 57:10. 57:8. Oh my god, my graphics. You know what? Should we just eat the ad, guys? Should we just eat the ad? My browser's just crashing. Holy moly. Should we eat the ad? Should we eat the ad? These are all just questions, anybody. But 57:08. Let's do that. 57:08, guys. Oh my god, what's going on with Navi, guys? What's going on with Navi? Whew. Huh? Where'd the sound go? I can't even listen. My sound dead, guys? Hello? 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 Anybody there? Ay, ay, ay. What's going on? $57.08. Oh my goodness. Navi is just taking up everything, guys. Oh my, we gotta make this super performant. It's taking up way too much GPU. Most likely. Most likely, guys. What is going on? All right. I'm going to update the prompt. Navi is slowing down whole system. This needs to be super efficient and optimized on the GPU when rendering in the browser. Jesus. What is going on, guys? What is going on? I need more GPU. I need Jensen to give me some GPUs, guys. I need Jensen. Am I lagging? I can't even see. Let me see. Let me check my phone. It's literally just my computer. Let's see here. Hello? Testing? I need more GPU. Oh yeah, it's working. It's working on my phone. Yeah. Everything's sort of in place. It's just my GPU is getting hammered right now, guys. I'm sorry. My GPU is being hammered by Navi. I should definitely reduce the amount of work I give Navi. Sorry. Wow, my sound doesn't work. It totally botched my sound. Holy moly, guys. I am so sorry. It doesn't matter what browser I use. I could use Brave, I could use, you know, anything. Let's see here. Does this work? Is it gonna work? Oh my goodness, guys, silence. Silence. I'm gonna have to drain out the white noise, guys. Drain out the white noise. Anybody have tinnitus? Anybody have tinnitus, guys? I have slight bit of tinnitus, guys. Slight bit. I hear just a light, very, very light. Oh, I hear that. I hear that sound effect. I hear that sound effect. But I don't hear my browsers, guys. I don't hear my browsers. I'm just coding in silence right now, guys. Coding in silence. Something's wrong with my sound. Something happened to my sound for my browsers. So I'm gonna need AI to fix that, guys. AI is bogging my GPU, guys. I'm sorry. We don't have the ambient music, guys. We don't have the ambient music. Because of something, guys. See, this is what happens when AI takes over your stream. All right. Oh, hey, look, it looks better. She looks better. Oh, wait. She looks better when it's small and like this. Oh, okay, she looks good. She looks good. Hopefully it uses less GPU. I could see her slightly, guys. You could barely see her. I could see a little bit of her. I could barely see her when it's like this. What the heck? What the heck? We're gonna have a pure ASCII generated AI made God ready to please as particles. All right. We need to fix the sound. I can't hear sound from my browsers. All right. Claude, save us. Claude, save us right now, guys. Claude, save us, and also give Navi the ability to speak. I don't think these particles will do it, but we'll see, guys. I mean, it shouldn't even take up that much GPU to render 2D particles, right? Like I'm rendering some right now with my fire animation. Should be able to do it with this. And we already have Navi. Navi's already like her ASCII body is still doing pretty well right now. Still doing pretty well. I think it's the model that's choking her up right now. All right, what is it? Found the issue. Chrome is running Flatpak. There are 0 browser syncs in Pulse audio. Only OBS streams. Okay. All right. Guys, are we gonna lose audio too, guys? Every time it does something like this, something breaks. Something breaks, guys. Whoa, 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 what's going on? All right, why is it like adjusting the wrong type of pixels though? It's adjusting the wrong pixels, guys. Wrong pixels. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Well, hopefully it'll turn out better. Hopefully it'll turn out better. Come on, come on. Come back. Give me my sound. Give me my sound. Okay, we're working on like bajillion things at the same time right now, guys. Sorry for the no music, but maybe Suno could help us. Maybe. Pause, Suno. Maybe. I don't know. I don't think so, guys. I don't think so. Might use too much or require too much GPU. We'll see. I should have some like steady tracks on the downloaded locally so I could just play them without YouTube all the time. Could save some bandwidth. Aye, guys. Browser is borked. Browser is borked. Oh wait. Maybe? Maybe? I don't like the Sigma boy token rain. That one was so bad. I don't want to listen to that. All right, browser's totally fried. It's totally fried, guys. Totally fried. Totally fried. And my browser's frozen. Oh my goodness, guys. Oh my goodness. All right. Nope. Nope. Nope, guys. Nope. System monitor still working. All right. Kill Firefox. Kill the Firefox. Kill it. Give me my GPU. Give me my GPU. All right. Gives me back my GPU. Man, I really put the stream at risk when I work on Navi, guys. All right. Navi is taking maybe way too much GPU. We need to reduce performance. Sound isn't even working. All right, try it again. Found it. Firefox no tab, corked, yes. All right. Does this work then? Yes, no? Videos aren't loading. Browser's not working. Even browsers are not working and stuff. We're not loading YouTube videos or anything. All right. This is a Brave browser, I think. Yeah, this is Brave browser. Closing, open code. All right, Navi, I'm gonna have to close you. Oh no. All right, I'm able to load websites somehow. All right, let's go back to Stanford videos. Wait, it's able to load just fine. But will I be able to see videos? That's the more important thing, guys. It's able to load subtitles, just not YouTube. What's going on? Help. Help. Video plays. Video does not play, it gets stuck loading. And I assume no sound, but it's just stuck loading. Push route, all of them. All of them. All of them. Flat pack, huh? Try restarting your device? Ay, ay, ay. Alright, let's kill Chrome. Let's kill Chrome, guys. Close every instance of Chrome. Typical Linux problems, guys. Typical Linux problems. Alright. Alright, let's try YouTube again. Let's try playing this. Yes, no? Nope. Nope, it gets stuck loading. It's stuck loading, guys. What is this? Have I been banned from YouTube, guys? Nothing's loading. What other sites play music? Oh, even Suno. Suno doesn't play music too. Or Twitch. Or Twitch. Everything loads just fine. Maybe I could view a YouTube stream or a Twitch stream. Let's see. Does that work? Nope. My God, something happened with my something happened, guys. Something happened. All right. Oh. Hello? Hello? Testing? Nope. Nope. Something's broken. Something is broken. God, jeez. What's going on? Stop the OBS. Investigate further. Saturation. I think it's something with Navi. Oh, let me work on the Navi one. For all browsers and can only hear OBS sounds. Guys, what's going on here, man? We're optimizing, we're reducing the render rate. We killed all our browsers. What we don't have is music. We don't have our music, but sometimes, guys, when I'm talking, I just pause videos just to do the dialogue, guys. I just talk like this anyway, but I have some slight ambient. Maybe I could play it on my phone, guys. My microphone is so sensitive. You guys could probably just hear whatever I play on my phone anyway, as a backup. Let's see. Let's go to my let's just do this. Oops. Oh, thank God, guys. I stopped you guys from listening to an ad. Skip. Let's see that. the ghetto background music, guys. Let's see it. The ghetto background music, guys. I'll lower it even more, so it's not that loud. Because I know it's loud. My microphone is super sensitive. You can hear my dogs moving. No, oh, I actually had to be like talking and stuff. It's okay. It's okay. All right, we have some ambient background music as I'm talking. Saved. Saved until we fix this. Until we fix this. It's the Vibe Scuff stream, guys. Vibe Scuff stream. Thank you for dealing with what I'm dealing with right now. All right, which service should I deploy to customer facing workers? Deploy them all? Yeah, deploy them all. All right, 8. All right. What's going on? What's going on? Calling Claude 5 times. Okay. Wait, why is it calling it 5 times? It's not even open. Oh my god. It's having trouble opening Chrome. I'll open it for you, buddy. Uh-oh. Where's my Chrome? Oh, I'm spelling it wrong. Whew. Jeez. Flatpak. Alright, let's play some SigmaShake something. Let's play some of this. Nope. 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 Not working. Not working. Am I even logged in? 4.7 settings. Super. What user am I on? I don't even know. But it opened my browser last time. Oh, we got picture. We got picture, but we don't have sound or video playing. Oh, and it opened the Claude thingy for Chrome. Well, hopefully, let's adjust this sound in case it blasts our ears in the future. All right, nothing yet. Nothing yet. What else is here? Okay, it says changes landed, net roughly, right? Halved. So much. I just need my sound working for my browsers, and my video isn't playing for any of my browsers, so just fix that first. I'm not going to stop my OBS stream. Leave it alone. Oh, leave OBS alone. Yeah. That was an option. That was an option. Corked, yes. Couldn't buffer audio, so playback paused itself. Now YouTube stuck loading. Browser playback should recover on its own when stream ends. If you need browser video during live processing in the future, the practical knob is the OBS bitrate drop. That shouldn't be. We should be able to restart a service or something that's not involved with OBS to recover sound. Because sound is working for OBS right now. And for desktop, just not my browser. Alright, what is this? Is it playing something? I mean, it's playing something. Let's go to this. Alright, it's making progress, guys. We're making progress. Videos are playing now, but just no sound. Okay, making progress slowly, guys, slowly. Oh. Oh. Let's see here. Load, come on, you can do it. I think I need to restart Pulse Audio. Hopefully all I need to do is restart Pulse Audio or something. I get my sound back. Let's see here. Fair pushback. All right. Guys, we should restart Pulse Audio, please. Just figure it out. Just restart Pulse Audio, get it back up and running. Because I think that's really the issue. If you use Arch Linux enough, guys, you'll probably encounter this bug eventually. But first on stream, guys, first on stream, we're dealing with this. But something that I'm not surprised by, honestly. Not surprised. For all the services that we're creating, something was bound to happen. My graphics card is scuffed. My power supply is scuffed. Yeah, not really surprised. It's just the Linux thing, guys. If you ever use Arch Linux or any other operating system, you'll encounter bugs like this all the time. Especially if it's your main operating system. But let's see here. Link is a gigabyte away. All right. You know what? I'm going to stop it, what it's working on, so that I could work on the next thing. Just, come on, skip. Restoring pits. Okay, pulse audio, may glitch briefly. Yes.